Give it a minute, let some people come on, if anyone wants to come on, and then we'll start having a chat. You'll have to excuse my vape. Hi Helen Jane, how you doing? Do you know what, I'm so bored with the internet that I just thought I'd come on because I've watched everything. I've watched all the dramatics on there and they're just not dramatic enough, or they're just boring. I need to have an open panel where people can come on the panel if they want. Now my dog's playing up. She's been chilling out all night. Every single time I go live, she gets all restless and demands stuff. But let's hope we can sort that out. Let me just get rid of these pop-ups because they're just as bad as the animals I've got. Hi Dave, welcome to the show. Do you know what? To be fair, I would like to have a chat about this Lady Di situation because it kind of seems like a cut and shut case. Patties. You'd be calling me pate next and eating me on toast, Dave. Does anyone want to come on the panel? Has anyone got anything that with substance that we can create in the chat? Because I've got not a lot to say. I mean, we could talk about the Lady Di thing. I've got my views on it. Yeah, that's cool, Dave. We all do it. Yeah. I'd rather be called Pate. I like pate. Do you know what? That's all she's been doing since I come online. She's farted and it stinks. And it's like she's been so chilled out all night. As soon as I come online, it all goes wonky. Lily, come and lay down. Come on. She's waiting at the door now, as if to say, I need to go out. She doesn't. Oh, these pop-ups really got on my nerves. They just pop up and they take half of the screen up. There must be something we could do about these pop-ups. It's like, why do they just pop up and they're allowed to take over half of your screen? Lily, go and lay down. There's no one there to open the door for you. Stay in the bathroom then. If you want to stay in the bathroom, stay in the bathroom. Yeah, I was watching that again tonight. That the investigations into Lady Di's death, and I believe it was the paparazzi that killed her. One specific person that actually killed her. I don't think it was anything to do with the driver or anything. I reckon it was to do with one particular paparazzi driver. Because, like, if that was in any other case, with the evidence that was gathered, the conclusion would have been that one paparazzi driver. And it's so strange that guy actually killed himself by catching himself alight in his own car in a field. That was guilt. That was. Oh God. Yeah, we all know where that duck went, didn't we? Yeah, you know, didn't you, Helen? Because it's weird because like when you look at all the evidence, to me there I believe that there was a lot of interaction or interference from the royal family, but don't you find every time that there's a big story that you'll get all different angles from it to confuse the truth? But yet that car, they found traces of the backlight in that tunnel. And then when they actually found that car, it belonged to a professional paparazzi, and that light had actually been renewed. And then it wasn't long after that that the guy apparently committed suicide. Hi, Webby. So yeah, I don't need a massive jury of £4 million and all that to come to my conclusion. I genuinely believe that one paparazzi that was desperate to get the exclusive created that accident, went on his way, and he couldn't live with his guilt. But the royal family poked their nose in at the end to confuse everything, because that's what happens in these big stories. Because at the end of the day, she made Prince Charles, she showed him up for what he was. But we've got to be careful now because he's king. So we have to be careful what we say. Not saying that it was anything to do with him, but I believe the orders come from the royal family, and the shit stories come from the royal family, and the conclusions come from the royal family. But I actually believe it was that guy that killed himself. I don't believe the driver was drunk. She was having an affair with Prince Philip. She died in a car accident too. Yeah. Yeah, I believe that was a genuine. Well, you say, was it an accident? Well, I suppose it was an accident, but it was caused by someone. It wasn't the driver losing control and hitting a pillar. I believe that car was overtaking the Mercedes to get the pictures, and he's hit the front of the car, which caused the damage on the back of his car, and they've just swerved straight across the road, hit the pillar. Hi, Method. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Anyone's welcome to come on the panel. You know what I mean? I'm not that scary. Just because I defend myself, I'm not that scary, really. It's nice to have someone to interact with rather than keep talking or playing music. I was watching this thing tonight about these weird deaths, and there was this geezer, right? How unlucky can you be? He was I think he was in his house or his mum's house, but his mum had died, and God, I'm gonna have to let my dog out. This makes me so angry because she's so chilled out until I do a live. Anyway, this Chinese, I think it was a Chinese geezer. I wouldn't mind. I was listening to it tonight, but you get the gist of it. This guy was in his house. His mum had just died, and Tom, what is it with you? Go away. You go away, and you go away. I'm talking to my friends, and you would assume that it was a bolt of lightning that had happened because there was a massive explosion in this house. Go away, pop-ups. This is stressful tonight, and I'm getting pop-ups and pets winding me up. Yeah, so at the end of it, there was this massive hole in this house, and this guy had blown up. Tom, get out of the way of the telly! Oh my God. I might have to go off because I can't handle the stress of these animals. Let me just open the kitchen door, see if it changes the dynamics. Right, let's open that door. That's the cat gone. Lily, do what you want, but you're not going outside because I know you don't want to go outside. You're just getting my attention. Right, yeah, so the scenario was ended up with this massive hole in this house, right? This geezer had been hit, right? And it had burn marks, unbelievable burn marks on him. And I assumed straight away it was a freak nature and lightning had struck the house, gone straight through it and gone through this guy because it was raining and there were storms at the time. Yeah, she's terrible, my dog. She really, every time I don't know how the fuck she knows I'm going live because I talk all the time. I talk to the dog, I talk to the cat, I talk to the radio, I talk to the channels that I listen to. But as soon as I go live, we get farts everywhere and dogs pacing up and down. But now the cat's decided to join in. Anyway, this geezer died. They tried to save him. He had multiple burns all over his body. Everyone else survived, but there was dust and mess everywhere in this house. So I'm assuming, well, lightning strike, obviously, it can't be anything else, right? So this guy, I can't understand why the last bit where he got cremated come into it, but they worked the problem out from there. But maybe I don't know. I don't get it. But anyway, he's died of his injuries, right? So he's seen his mum off in his house. She's just died. He's died because of the big incident in his house, and now he's being cremated at the crematorium. Love it, got that right. And the door blew off. It blew off of the crematorium with such force that it embedded itself in the wall opposite, right? So it just blew off, right? And then they've worked it out that a weather balloon that turns hailstones into rain, because when there's hailstones in a certain area and there's crops, it can wreck the crops. So what they do, they send this weather balloon up with this explosion thing on it that blows up in the sky to turn the what did I just say there was? Hailstones into rain, so it doesn't ruin the crop. And I thought, well, I've never heard of that before. But apparently, because this guy was put in the oven and he had so much of this stuff in him, it blew the doors off of the fucking the cremation oven. The oven. And I'm like, how much bad luck can you get in your life? Eh? Yeah, but apparently she wasn't pregnant. But this is the whole point of it, Dave. They put all these mix into it just to dirty the true story. If you took the pregnancy away, because at the end of the day, when people think, oh well, she was pregnant, so the royal family is not going to let that happen. So now you're including the royal family in this. I 100% believe. Well, I can't be 100% believe, but in my mind, I believe she wasn't pregnant. She wasn't pregnant. That was stuck in now just to put another twist on the story. I reckon it was a very basic story. He wanted to take her back to his apartment against his dad's advice. Said, stay here. There's everything here you need. There's paparazzi everywhere. Stay here. But there was a story going about he wanted to propose to her. It got a couple of rings and blah, 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 whatever. So he wanted to go back to his apartment and composed to her. Very romantic, especially when you've got everything around you made of gold or marble or granite or whatever. So, yeah, I believe he wanted to take her back to his apartment to propose to her. So they've gone out, and you'll always get, no matter what the paparazzi believe, there'll always be an opposite that thinks outside the box and will look somewhere else. That's how it is with paparazzi. They're desperate for their photos and their story. Desperate. And I believe there was a paparazzi that knew that they was coming out. It was a guess, but it was a good guess, because at the end of the day, they live in flash cars, don't they? They don't go out in Datsuns or Ladas. They go out in Mercedes or Jags and things like that, tinted out windows and all that. I reckon he's guessed it right. He's followed the car that's picked him up from round the back, and he's whizzed off. This little car's gone after him. He's tried to overtake him, taking the photos, and he's clipped the front of the car, and it's put it in it didn't spin. It just went from one side of the road to the other, and before the driver could get control, it's hit the pillar. And then everything else that happened after that was just natural. But there's so much conspiracy stuff around it. I reckon the royal family stuck their 2 bobs worth in, because when you've got 3 or 4 or 5 different stories, you're never going to know the truth. That's my conclusion. Yeah, they get tipped off too. I haven't got a clue, to be honest with you. But the trouble is, you've just got to, most of the shit that goes on out there, you've just got to think of it logically and get rid of all the shit that goes around it. Because that's what they want to do. When they don't want you to actually really know the truth and they want to divide the public in their opinion, that's exactly what they do. They put loads of different stories out there, and then you'll get 20% believe that, 30% believe that, 5% believe that, and then before you know it, you haven't got an unanimous decision. So it goes nowhere. Yeah, but what is the truth? You say it like that, Webby, as if it was something that happened because of the royal family. I don't believe the royal family was involved. I believe in some way they was glad it happened, but I genuinely believe this is all down to the paparazzi. A lone ranger that actually killed himself in a field in his car. Hi Brian, how you doing? We're just having a chat about stuff. It'd be nice if someone comes on the panel, but I'm just talking about stuff really that I believe. What was that? The NFG. What's an NFG when it's at home? Could well have been, Webby. Could well have been, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I mean, I know that the royal family wouldn't like to look bad, but I just think that was something that happened, and I just believe the worst that they ever got involved with was muddy the waters, so the truth never is known, and the pregnancy bit that was put in it just like made it even worse. So yeah, my dog's laying under the table now where I've got my PC on, so she could just fart in my face as much as she likes. Oh God, I've got the cat there as well. I can't believe this. It's like, what? Do you know what? There must be some sort of radio waves that come off of these computers when you go live that make your animals restless. I mean, we could talk about the Mountbatten story as well, can't we? But, you know, oh my God, I was so right about that dog. Can you hear me talking through my jumper? That's fucking rank. Lily, you stink. Can you hear me? Oh my God. Hi, Charlie girl. I'm hiding behind my jumper at the moment because my fucking dog's just farted and it absolutely stinks. Why do they do that? How can they produce farts when something's not going their way? I reckon she's just doing that as if to say, look, if you don't let me go out, I'm just going to do rank farts. You watch, I'll let her out, right? She won't be out that long. Yeah. Well, you don't know that though, do you? What happened to Fergie after she split up with, was it Andrew? What happened to her? She must have had affairs and everything after that, surely. Trouble with Lady Di, she was such an icon, wasn't she? Everyone absolutely loved her. It's like even El Fayed, he's never had a British passport, has he? They would never give him one, would they? I'm going to let my dog out. Give me 1 minute, because if I don't let her out, I'm going to be shouting at her all night. Hang on a sec. Sorry, guys. God, what a waste of battery, eh? Pissing around with your dog. I save my battery power up all day so I can come on alive. Or use it for some use, and then I have to worry about a dog keep farting under my nose. Yeah, he was well, I ain't going to say too much about that, but wasn't he a paedophile? Oh. Did I actually say that? Oh, my boat's going to end up getting bombed in a minute, and they're going to blame it onto one of my gas bottles going up. And I was pregnant. And you'll not believe it. Oh, stop it. Yeah. I should have brought my dog up from day one on YouTube. It's like she feels like, I don't know, I don't get it. She obviously gets nervous because when I go live, but I mean I'm on my laptop, on my computer, on my iPad, my phone all day. But because I'm not talking to people on there, it don't make no difference. But as soon as I go live, it's just like even the cat's gone wonky. She's hiding behind the telly. Why is she hiding behind? I think she's trying to pull the plug out of the back of the telly. Oh dear. Next time I do a live, I'll go on my camper van and leave the fucking animals in, you know. What are they like, eh? What are you doing behind there, Tom? Stop trying to pull the lead out. I know what you're up to. Anyone got any subjects they'd like me to cover? Because I'm quite professional. Yeah, you got that right, Ellen. Especially Liz tonight. I can't believe that. Well, she laid under the table and within seconds she just let one off. Hi, Plisco. How you doing? What's that? Kaylee is sick from what I just heard. Kaylee is sick from what I just heard. So why is she sick and what? Oh. Oh, I see. Oh, do you know what? It's funny because when Eric and Danny put that thing out that they're coming on tomorrow night, I suspected something had changed. The dynamics had changed with Stinky Knickers. But, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, I'm gutted and all. No, I'm not. I'm not. That was created by that very person. She probably spent all her money on fucking shit. I mean, I ain't gonna sit here and go on about it, but I can't stand the bird, and I always said I will not leave YouTube until I see that bird fall. Get over there, you dirty little stinky four-legged bitch. Get over there now. Get out of my way so I can go and shut the door because you've let all the heat out now. All that money I've spent on gas, you've let it out the door because you want to go and fart in the garden. Right, hang on a sec, guys. Sorry. Come on, go and lay down. Be a good girl. Go and lay down. You're not having a biscuit. I know that's what you're doing. Oh, God, I'm freezing there. I'm going to let me put my dressing gown on. Hang on a sec, guys. Just give me 1 second. See what the dog does to me. Oh, shut them curtains. That won't help, does it? All my bloody curtains are open. No wonder I'm not getting hot. Right, hang on a sec. Let me just put this on. Oh, dear. That's it. I've got my dressing gown on. Right, I'll tell you what, if this dog winds me up, I'm going to have to mute and shout at her because there's only one command she understands when she knows I mean it. I'm not going to reveal that command on here because you lot will be able to control my dog and then she will never be able to defend me again. Yeah, but I would leave that Plisco, to be fair. I mean, if the girl's in trouble, I wouldn't get involved in the family, to be honest with you. You'll just be looked at as a bit of shit later on. You know how things go. Stick the link up if you're okay. Yeah. Well, it's at the top, but I'll have another go because I do like practicing, to be honest with you, Helen. It's like I kind of got this off to a T earlier. I was like, how did I do that? Where's the 3 dots? No, hang on, just leave that there. Right, let me just do that because someone told me how to do it because I've smashed the screen on my touchscreen laptop. I have to do everything a different way. Oh, look at that! I'm a master. Look at that! I've done that with no problems. Yeah, I wouldn't bother. To be honest with you, please, I'd let it play out if I was you. It's not always fair. It's not always best to be the first over the line in stuff like that. I'm just going to sit back and just think, thank God I haven't got to watch my back anymore because that has haunted me for the last 4 or 5 years out of the 6 I've been on the internet. There's probably going to be some speech about, oh, let's leave them alone and stuff. But like at the end of the day, some of us have been wounded a lot more than others by that evil woman. Absolute evil. But I've chose to just stay back and let everyone else do what they got to do, because I've been through what I've been through because of that thing. My reputation has been tarnished on here because of that thing. All the people that are names on here have believed that thing against me. That's fine. But they've all seen the light, and it isn't because of what I've said or done. It's because of the experiences they've had to go through with it. So, yeah. Let the big names take the brunt of it all. Mind you, you're pretty much up there as well with it, Plisco. People would rather listen to you than me. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I've been through the experiences, whereas you have proved what she is. Why is my cat hiding behind the telly? She never goes behind the telly. Lily, stop that, please. Thank you. You know you're being a pain, don't you? Don't look at me like that. It's like, what, me? No, wasn't me. God, I wish I had a joint right now. I'm smoking a vape. I haven't had a joint since before Christmas. I've just like stopped it. I thought, just call it a day. The link's up there if you want to come on in. No problem, no. But yeah, anyone else got anything they want to talk about? I'm not playing no music tonight. Just thought I'd come on and have a chat about stuff, about life. We're all going to die. We're all doomed. We're all going to die. Yeah, I wish I did get a goldfish. I did have a goldfish once upon a time. I've had tropical fish, tropical marine fish, goldfish. Best fish I ever had was tropical marine. Hi, Ginge. How you doing? Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah. It's all good in the hood. Wow, you get a verification code. How cool's that? Do you know, with some of my devices, when I get emails and stuff like that, it doesn't go on all my devices. And it's so frustrating because every time I want to find something out, I have to look at every device just to make sure I ain't missed something. It's fucking weird, isn't it? Don't know why that shit works out. Everyone else's like devices are all synced, but mine ain't. Fucking drives me nuts. Some things are, but not everything is. Yeah, I've been on a glass bottom boat. Where did I go on a glass bottom boat? I think it's in Australia. When I was in Australia, I went on a glass bottom boat. Didn't really rate them that much though, because I was a diver. I'm a dive master. I'll have you know. I am a dive master. I've dived with the best of the fish. When I went on a glass bottom boat, because I was with a girl, I didn't rate it at all, really. To be fair. Oh, you got a budgie. Are you going to train a Charlie's girl? I know someone on here that used to talk on the internet, and the bird used to come over and sit on her on her shoulder and like groom her hair and everything. Oh, pop ups, go away! You're so sad. Go and pick on someone else that cares. Putting that Snow White pic on. Who's Boyle? Who's Boyle? Oh, yeah, someone did say that, didn't they? Yeah, but at the end of the day, I didn't make that picture. I didn't make that picture. I just saved it when I saw it, and I thought, like, yeah, because that's what it was acting like at the time. But well done for pointing it up. Yeah, well, you just got to go with it, ain't you, Helen? At the end of the day. Yeah, that's what I was going to say to you. And a really good thing, what I thought was good, what she done, she put a coat hanger up, and then she hung two coat hangers off of that, and then two coat hangers off of that. And the birds used to go and sit on the coat hangers because they used to swing around. But the budgie really liked it as like a perch. I thought it's a really good idea of making something like that out of something you got in the cupboard, just hanging them in the living room. The budgie used to go over and sit on them and play on them. I thought that was really good. But they're quite intelligent birds, budgie. Mind you, most birds are. Yeah, I was thinking of it, but I just think, like, do you know what? I'm 60 now, Ellen, and if I can, I'm going to just try and stop it completely because I've been smoking it since I was 18. It's a long time, isn't it? Okie dokie. Would you need a verification code for? You just press the link in the chat. You don't. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, just press the link and then it brings you in here. You don't need a verification code unless you're going through StreamYard. Best fish I've ever had. Yeah, yeah, me too. Do you remember when you used to be able to get Rock Hill with that big one bone in the middle? I used to love that fish. I because I was quite young and money was quite scarce back in them days. I even used to eat the bone sometimes. Yeah, yeah. We're definitely special. Very special. I can't remember the last time I had fish at the fish shop. I had some fish out of the food factory. They'd done these two big bits of fish in a box. It was frozen. I can't remember what the fish. I thought it was cod because I always assume everything I'll get is cod anyway. And I cooked them in the oven. That was fucking lovely. I couldn't even be bothered to cook any chips with it. I just ate these two bits of fish. And I was like, I've got to get them again. That was really nice. And that was cheap because fish ain't cheap. What colour is it? Oh, you're talking about the budgie. You're talking about the budgie. You must be. Mm. At the moment, I'm vaping melon and kiwi. Yeah, melon and kiwi. It's all right. The last one I had was cheesecake, but there's a big story behind cheesecake, and I was like, I was kind of going off of it a bit quick. But we won't talk about that story because that involves someone that sounds like they're going downhill. So no, there's someone much worse than us, Ellen. I'm telling you, Zara B. She's the most vile-mouthed piece of shit I've ever heard on the internet, and all she's got to show for her name is a wank den. with the dirty old men going because of how vulgar she talks. They'll sit there wanking all night. But anyway, that's enough publicity for her. Absolutely ripped me to bits in there the other day, and I only went in there for a chat and try and lighten her channel up a bit more because it was quite, yeah. Anyway, that's done, yeah. People will always remember me. My name always pops up, even if people are talking about a country or anything. Soon as they hear that name, they'll think of me. Every time you men shag your wives at home, you'll be thinking of my name, Paris. Paris. I fucking haunted you all now, and I. Don't fuck with me. There's a wonky side to me you won't want to meet. Yeah, I always like that Charlie girl. The trouble is, when I stop smoking weed, I tend to turn to drink a bit, and I did turn to drink a bit, but I'm doing it so that I have a few nights off and then a couple of nights on. I'm trying to just like. It's lucky that I live off a grid, to be fair, because I think if I live next to an offer license, I'll probably be living in it. So yeah, Paris. Oh dear. Now, if you're on YouTube, you're in the chat, right? You don't even have to have StreamYard. You just press on the link and it brings you in now. It's only when you want to make a StreamYard for your YouTube that you've got to download the app. Yeah. I wish I could give up the vape really, but it's like it don't really do much for me. But it's just nice when I have something to eat or a cup of tea and then I have a go on the vape because I used to smoke. I can't say it's nice to have a fag after sex because I don't have sex anymore. So yeah, that I'll soon get over that habit. Let's put this link up again anyway. Let's see if I can do it really quick this time. All right, can I do it that quick? Oh my god, I can't believe I've actually learned how to do it properly. Because it used to take me forever. It used to take me forever to put the link up, but now I've just worked it out how to put it up there. In fact, I'm going to put a star on it. What's that? Hang on, let me just do the 3 dots. Put user in timeout. How can you do that with a link? Right, we'll press the star button. I don't know what that does. It just makes it blue with a star on it. I don't know what that does. Hi, fan to me, Dan. I heard really grapevine. Apparently, it's my fault you smashed your. Yeah, it was. Actually, to be fair, I'm going to fucking block you. Yeah, because I don't like you. You're a drunken cunt and don't let anyone talk. So, yeah, you made me smash my laptop. So fuck off. Now, hang on. Phantom Profit. Now, hang on. Hang on. Jack Sparrow, Tom. So, if you're Jack Sparrow, Tom, and then it was you, yeah. Yeah, it was you. Yeah, fuck off. Right, hang on. Let me get him back down. Oh, I can't get it back down there. Hang on a minute. Yeah, you was a pissed cunt one night, yeah? A pissed cunt. And I come in here because I was desperate for help because someone had stole my Facebook. And all you kept doing was going blah, blah, blah. And hang on, let me finish. Hang on, let me finish. So you can fuck off, you creep. There you go. That's how we do all wankers like that. I smashed on my laptop because of that cunt. There you go. It's gone. He can come back as someone else if he wants. There you go. You just fuck off. Waste of time. I know you know how to use the computer, but at the end of the day, you're not going to get a friend in here, so you might as well piss off. An error occurred. Try refreshing. Yeah, whatever. Say what you fucking want in here, but piss off. Phantom Prophet. No. You're Jack Sparrow, ain't you? Tom, ain't you? So own your shit. All you got to do is own your shit. It's not hard, is it? Own your shit. This is why the internet's so wonky. People with mental illnesses can't handle their drink. It cost me £100 to replace that screen, but I haven't got that sort of money, so I've got it on my telly. Got no screen on my PC, but I've connected it to my telly. So yeah, anyway, let's just move on. Ignore that. Yeah, you use YouTube. Stop getting all complicated, Helen. Jesus, I ain't got a clue about computers and I'm here. Oh dear. Melon and kiwi. It's like sometimes you could taste it and then other times you can't. Oh my God, Helen's made it here. I'm going to solo you out though, Helen, just in case you're a porn bomber. How do I do that anyway? Let me just press them 3 dots, see what they do. Oh my God, I've let you on. Hang on. Oh no. Oh, I'll get it. Yeah. Right. Hang on. Right. Add in.
Right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Cool. You're really loud, actually. I mind you're on my telly, so it would be loud to me.
Oh, what am I doing? Sitting on top of it? Can I not be swinging from chandeliers?
Yeah. I ain't got chandeliers on my boat. It was a beating me in the head. But how you doing anyway, Ellen? It's the first time I've heard you on here, isn't it?
Yes, it's my first time.
Yeah.
I'm a Paris virgin.
Oh, welcome to the Paris Virgin show. How you doing?
I'm all right. I've got a bit of a croaky voice at the moment.
Hi, Metal Elf. I've never heard of you before, but welcome to the show. So what do you think about the Lady Di scenario then, Helen?
Well, to be quite honest, I agree with what you were saying earlier on. There was no way that they were ever going to let her marry Dodi. Not as the mother of the future King of England. Not a chance.
Well, there's not a lot that they could have actually done about it, but I just believe they would have probably
just killed her off.
Gone down the route of tarnishing her name more rather than trying to kill her, because it would be too obvious.
I think it was, to be quite honest, I think it was an absolute terrible, horrific accident that the paparazzi, that photographer was at complete fault. I don't think he had obviously any intention of causing that to happen. Who would? But I think it was a complete error of judgment. I think it was, they're all driving, they're all self-employed, aren't they? They only get paid for the picture. So they all want the top money, and they've got to get the best picture.
Well, the thing is, right, if only one of the paparazzi have got the picture, the price is theirs.
Oh, absolutely. It is.
Simple.
I mean, you name your price, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And that would have gone into the hundreds of thousands if
Oh
that
yeah,
guy had have had them pictures. But
yeah.
because he caused that crash, because there was lenses from a rear light in that tunnel, and that guy owned exactly that car.
That's right.
And when they traced that car back, it had a
Yeah,
brand new backlight on it.
yeah, because they traced they matched the paint and everything, didn't they? It was
Yeah, the paint as well. Yeah.
if I remember. I
Lots
mean,
of that.
I haven't watched anything really about it. But it's got to be. I don't know how long has it been since. What is it? 25 years? It must be. Is it 20 years or 25 years?
It was 90 something. Was it 95 or 98? Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can't remember. But
Yeah.
but you know, it's
I
got to
wouldn't
be.
mind.
It's
I
got to be
watched it today as well, and I forgot the date already.
It's got to. I mean, I haven't watched anything on it really, to be quite honest, for at least 15 years.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm just going off memory. But yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. It clipped it, and it swerved. The Mercedes swerved, and you just got no.
Yeah.
I mean, no, they were going at speed. They were trying to get away.
Well, you say speed, but 61 to 63 miles an hour to me is not fast.
Well, it's not to me.
But if
But
someone
when you're
hits
going
you,
through a tunnel like that with someone chasing you, it probably seems a lot faster. Because it was only a short distance.
When
wasn't
someone
it?
hits you, you probably realise the speed you're going. But to me, that's not fast at all.
Yeah, but I mean, 60 miles an hour to a concrete column.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the momentum of it and it actually swerving probably made it seem like it was a lot faster, because that dent in the front of that Mercedes was quite deep, wasn't it?
Oh, it was. Oh yeah. It was horrific. I'm surprised it wasn't worse, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and they were saying like, oh, it took ages for the ambulance to get there, and then it took ages for the ambulance to get to the hospital. But with France, their priority is to try and make the patient stable. So that's why they pulled over. It wasn't because they was trying to buy time and kill her. It was because they were trying to stabilise.
I mean, people that it's just so ridiculous. People that come up with stupid conspiracy theories like that. You're looking at the mother of the future King of England and one of the wealthiest men in the whole world.
Yeah.
Whose father owns Harrods, right? You couldn't get two more diplomatic kind of, people to not fuck about with, to put it straight.
Well, the thing is as well, I mean, there must be history.
They probably left us in the road if it was you and me. They'd be like, oh, leave them.
Yeah, possibly.
But
they'd have probably tried to save the driver.
They're not going to go, I'll tell you what, let's put our feet up. Should we pull over? Yeah, fancy a little croissant on the way? Yeah, don't worry about it. We've just got Princess Diana dying in the back. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, who in their right mind would even think about that's a possibility? I mean,
Yeah, but look, if you're losing someone, you're in the back of an ambulance and you're losing someone.
You pull over and treat that person.
That important. Yeah. You're going to make the judgment call to pull over and try and stabilise.
Yeah, and that is one hell of a judgment call. And it must have been. Yeah. I mean, it must have been. We have no choice. We've got to pull over. Otherwise, there's no hope.
But that is their policy. This didn't happen in England. This happened in France.
Exactly.
That's their policy.
Yeah.
So, like,
and to be quite honest, Paris, to be quite honest, if that was my mum in the back of that ambulance, and there was a chance that if they stopped, they could save her, but if they carried on, they may not. But we wouldn't know. I'd want them to stop and try.
Exactly, because they've probably got everything they need in the ambulance anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why they're ambulances. They've got everything in there.
Well,
they could probably.
When my mum died of a heart attack, my mum and dad were on holiday at our place in the Canaries, and 3 ambulance crew. She died before she even hit the floor. It was a massive heart attack. My dad tried to revive her, gave her, CPR, whatever it is, and 3 ambulance crews turned up, and they'd done all the, with the defibrillators or whatever it's called. And they actually cut her open and tried to start her heart with their hands.
Yeah, I believe that.
But
How long ago did she die then?
Sorry?
How long ago did your mum die?
It'll be 13 years this year.
Oh, bless.
Yeah, she was only 62.
Yeah. That's young.
Yeah, she was very, very ill. Her Crohn's disease was horrendous. Horrendous.
Oh, is that what she had, Crohn's?
Yeah, my Crohn's is nothing like my mum's. I mean, my mum's was horrendous. And, 40 years on the most powerful drugs that you can get, every day steroids for 25 years, Petadine at home every day, dihydrocodone every day. I mean, all the azathioprine, just her body took a physical beating from the Crohn's. It nearly killed her twice before.
Do you find that there's a pattern in the family with Crohn's?
Well, it can be hereditary, but it may not be hereditary. She was the first one out of the whole entire family, on her side of the family, to have it. I got it. I inherited it, and I have one cousin that has it too.
Yeah.
Second cousin.
Do you know what? I was thinking about this about, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, and my family have got Crohn's, right? And then all of a sudden it come to me one day and I was like, hang on a minute, there's a pattern here, because like my nan and granddad had quite a few children. I mean, we're talking a long time ago now, because I'm 60, right? They had a lot of children, and I noticed all the boys in my nan's family, not all of them got Crohn's. I think only one of them got Crohn's, but only all the males in that family produced kids that had Crohn's, or they had Crohn's themselves. None of the girls at all.
That's very unusual.
Yeah, none of the girls at all got Crohn's or passed it on. It was all the males that got married.
My cousin, he's got it. When I was growing up, I only knew two people in my, like, the whole of my childhood that ever had Crohn's disease. My mum and one of my mum and dad's friend's son or something. And that was it. I only knew my mum and that this other person that, I saw him at parties, when your parents go to parties and you're all sitting there. And I'd never heard of anybody else having it. But it's so common. It seems to be really common now.
Yeah.
A lot more people have it. I don't know whether a lot more people have it or whether or not they're actually diagnosing it properly, because it's very difficult. It's very difficult to diagnose.
Well, one of my cousins, he was quite a big lad, and he went down to just over 4 stone before they realised he had Crohn's, and I was like, how can you be like a grown man and go down to that weight?
Yeah, that's terrible.
Nearly died. Yeah, he nearly died.
Well, when in women, a lot, it's usually if usually Crohn's comes out when you're about 30, unless you can have it bad and then you have it younger, and or it comes out sometimes after childbirth, which is what happened to me, and it went full blown crazy after my mum had me. But they said she'd had it from when she was 7, they believed. It came out when she was 7, but it was so bad. She went into it. My parents had private health when I was, even back in the 70s when I was born, and they didn't use it because they just used the local hospital. And the matron, the doctor in there, he said to my dad, he said, Russell, he said, Stella's got Behçet syndrome. My dad went, sorry. My mum went, what's that? And he said, it's from the Middle East. She said, hold on a minute. I don't think I've got that. No, you've got that. Well, she was very poorly, but she was getting more and more poorly. And I was I think I was 6 weeks old, and she was getting worse, and the matron, it was matrons in the hospital there. The matron pulled my dad aside, and she said to him, "You need to get your wife out of here today because she's going to die."
Oh,
yeah, they're going to kill her in here. They're treating her for something she hasn't got. She's getting worse. So he pulled her. There was a bit of a humdinger and whatever. She was very, very lucky because she had the chief medical officer for the medical board or whatever it is of England as her consultant.
Well, why didn't she tell them
when they paid
what
private? You know, when they went private, and there was a bit of a hoo-ha about the hospital, the local hospital, letting her go because he wouldn't discharge her to the consultant's care. So my dad took all my mum's cannulas out and everything, scooped her up in his arms, bless him, and carried her out the hospital. Drove her to into London to what was the Royal Masonic Hospital, where they filmed Poirot. You know Poirot, the TV series.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was filmed in the hospital that my mum went into. And when my mum arrived there, they were all waiting out the front for her because she was so bad. My mum had like little mini cauliflowers, it looked like, growing out of her all over, and it was the poison from the Crohn's coming through. And they'd crack and bleed. All her eyes were bleeding, everything.
Oh.
Yeah, and she'd lost a lot of blood. And she was actually rhesus negative B, just to be double awkward. And the UK had run out of her blood type.
And what blood type was that? A what?
Rhesus negative B.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, well, if you were a conspiracy theorist, she is the blue blood from the original bloodline of the aliens or lizard people.
The lizard people. I'm yet to see one, but I've heard a lot about them. Do they live underground?
Don't ask me, I haven't got a clue. They like tunnels, I heard, and they like to eat babies.
Okay.
What they I mean, it's just like you couldn't make this shit up. They actually held Concorde in New York and flew blood over. They delayed Concorde for half an hour to get blood on board.
Have you ever seen Concorde fly it?
Yeah, he used to go over the house.
Do you know what?
I 11 o'clock and 5 o'clock or something it was.
I love the Concorde because I love the shape of it, the style of it. And I was actually working on Putney Bridge up London one year, and Concorde flew over, and I was in awe of it. I was like, oh my God, that is fucking amazing.
It's such a shame
that,
that you know, they stopped it.
Well, the thing is, all these supersonic planes are all way too dear to fly, but yet the military seem to have enough of them.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
We can't afford to fly them when passengers are paying for them, but yet we can afford to fly them when the military are using them. Amazing, really.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was a lot of money to go on Concorde because I think it was about, I don't know, wasn't it about $4 or $5 grand or something just to fly to New York or something like that? I can't remember because I would have been, you know.
It's silly money, but I actually went on a Concorde when it was in, what's that museum? They had one. Hartford, is it?
Oh, I know where you mean. I can't remember the name.
Stanley M11. Stanley M11.
Yeah, I know where you mean.
I took my son there one day, right?
Brighton, is it?
No, it's Stanley M11. It's oh God. Do you know what? I took my son there, right? It'll come to me in a minute, and I couldn't believe how small it was inside, how cramped people were for the money they was paying.
I've never been inside. I have never been inside. I would have loved to have gone inside it.
It's like walking into a tube. You've got 2 seats each side, and then I went down to the cockpit, and I couldn't believe the instruments that was in the cockpit. I was like, whoa, that was really old fashioned though. Proper old fashioned switches and dials. And I was
I
like,
know, makes you
wow.
wonder. Well, I'll tell you what, I going completely the opposite end from Concorde. When I went up to the Shetlands, before I moved up there and I went up there and I missed my train was delayed, going to Aberdeen from Lincolnshire. I caught
Yeah,
train to Lincolnshire.
Brian just said 1,500 quid one way on that.
You see, I'd pay that these days, but of course it wouldn't be that this days, would it?
No,
That would have been
it
20
wouldn't be
years ago.
nowhere near that.
You're probably looking at probably about £4,000 now, aren't you?
One way, yeah.
Got to be.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway,
a lot.
sorry, carry on.
I missed my trains were delayed and I missed the ferry going from Aberdeen to Shetland. And so I caught an aeroplane over, but I had to go to Edinburgh to catch the aeroplane. I think it was Edinburgh.
I've been to Edinburgh.
I think it was Edinburgh. I'm sure it was Edinburgh, not Glasgow. Anyway, wherever it was, you catch the plane over to Shetland, and it kind of lands like right by the sea on the rocks, and you're like, shit, are we going to land or are we going to just carry on? But the aeroplane was like a transit van with wings.
Wow.
Oh, it's awful. I've never been so scared in my life.
Do you know what? I was watching the thing today, right? This guy bought this aeroplane. He paid £250,000 for it. It was Elvis Presley's jet plane, right? And obviously, this geezer's got more money than sense. He had a really hyper personality. He was
When
like,
they turn it on, did it go? Sorry.
Yeah, look at that. The telly works. And then he's bought this plane for £250,000, right? And then he decided to get someone in to quote how much it would cost him to get this plane up and running again. Because
it wasn't even running.
No, it was sitting on like one of them
scrap pile.
Yeah, it was like an aeroplane graveyard. It was sitting in one of them. It was red and silver stripes it had, right? So this guy's decided to buy it, right? And this has been sitting there for 40 years, right? So he's got this expert company to come in to give him a quote on how much it would cost to get it up and running, right? And it was basically like all the chances of getting this plane going again was like all the planets had to align, right? So it wasn't impossible, but he had to find 4 engines that this company couldn't even find, and this was what they were.
Oh my God!
And it come to just under 6 million if everything run right,
and nothing was original by the time he'd finished.
Yeah, well, yeah, it still would have been Elvis's plane.
I mean, it's original, but nothing that probably Elvis would have touched.
Yeah, but it would have been as good, but the thing is, once it got all the parts that he needed, because like there was corrosion on certain bits, all the engines had to be replaced. Half of the clocks were missing in the cockpit, all just things like that. And then even if they'd found all the bits that they needed to get this plane running, they have never designed and made a muffler that can quieten it down so that it was legal to fly. So even if they had spent that 6 or 7 million, they still couldn't have flown it because it was too noisy.
No, you see, that I see as a waste of money. When that money, I mean, they could have donated that to a charity that Elvis Presley was an ambassador for. I find that spending that sort of money on something like that, I find that quite. I find that a waste of money, and I think it's quite obscene. I don't care what people spend their money on, but when it's a waste, like when it's a pure waste, I mean,
Yeah.
that's just ridiculous.
Well, the geezer was never going to spend that money on it. He
Mm.
just wanted to get a quote, but he's going, "Oh, maybe I'll live in it." Or, no, but I was thinking, you've just spent
He probably wouldn't have a choice
250,000
if his
on an
wife found
aeroplane.
out.
It's like he turned the telly on, right, and he expected BBC One to come on because it was so old, it's analog and it's never going to work. I mean, you've got a white screen with the snow and all that, and he's going, "Oh, I can't believe it! The telly works! Oh, great!" And he's bouncing up and down in this plane, and I'm thinking, "You're fucking nuts, mate."
The problem is that, like, you know, you sit there and you watch the programs. You know, there's restoration programs on the telly, right?
Hmm.
And they make it look so easy. Oh, and you just got
Yeah.
to do this, and like with the car, oh yeah, just got to do this and tune this and do. But if you're not a mechanic or if you're not a skilled, you know, restoration person, I mean, they make it look so easy.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, when they make these programs, right, everyone wants to jump on it because they want their pound of flesh and their adverts, right? It's like, I've got a camper van, right? It's 52 years old, right? I can't even find a mechanic that can tune the carburetor on it. That's how unhelpful society is, unless they see an opportunity of
I did
advertising.
speak to my friend about your about your camper van. I think he was trained by either Bentley or Rolls Royce, a mechanic. He is.
Yeah, yeah, but
I
that
must
still don't
remind
help
him
because
he did contact me because I put a post out about your camper van. When you asked last time, it was quite a while ago.
yeah. I need that carburetor tuned up so that when I put my gas conversion on it, I know it's going to run to the best of its ability because it does 8 miles per gallon, and
My mum's
petrol's not
car used
cheap.
to do 8 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, I mean, I had a Corvette and it done 17, and I thought that was bad. But this camper, here, look, this is a good statistic. What Brian's just written. In 1977, it cost £431 to fly one way on the Concorde between London and Washington. Adjusted for inflation, that's about £2,431 in today's money. One way.
To where?
From London to Washington, America.
You see, if you had, you know, if you didn't have to worry about the money, I would pay that to fly just the once to fly on Concorde both ways.
Not on the one that blew up though, obviously.
Well, you know, no, I don't fancy having to swim halfway across.
I don't think you was swimming anywhere. That was just gone.
Oh yeah, that was
mad. What
happened,
happened,
wasn't it? Really, that was the end of. Wasn't it?
That was something on the track. That was someone's fault because they didn't see a bit of metal on the track.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean? It just goes to show when you get complacent in your job, it will cost someone else their lives.
Absolutely, and that's unfortunately that's usually the cause of a lot of things like that, isn't it? It was, you know, it's human error. But you know, we're only human, so people.
But if but your wages don't go up and down to do your job. So you've got to be in that professional capacity at every moment you do that job. If it's an important
I mean,
job.
you know the responsibility you have when you take that position, don't you? You do.
Yeah.
I mean, error's going to happen, but you know, you can't start napping on the job, can you? Something like that. But you know, then it's hard, don't they? Because they want to cut corners. They try to cut costs. People are trying to work double hours, trying to make up. You know, even back then, you know, it doesn't change, does it? Everybody always needs more money. Doesn't matter how much you've got, you'll spend what you've got.
Well, the trouble is people always live beyond their means, to be fair. Unless they're forced not to.
Yeah.
But we all live. I mean, like when I had an house and a job and everything, I had loans left, right, and centre. I had a mortgage. I had a kids to bring up. Do you know what I mean? It's like you lived beyond your means. But now I live on a boat and my money's really restricted. It's surprising. I mean, really, I don't cope because I have a lot of nights here where I'm fucking freezing my nuts off. I have a lot of nights here where I can't afford to eat, but I do manage to get by, and I don't choose to live like that. But it's surprising how much we just take for granted when we've got whatever we want.
Yeah.
This is why a lot of people are unhealthy, I think, because they can eat what they want, do what they want, go where they want, and they've got money at their fingertips. I mean, there's a lot of sensible people out there that don't take advantage of that, but I can see how easy it is to get unhealthy. When you don't have to think about the next pound note.
Yeah, and convenience too, because it's take a family. Both parents, both husband and wife, or mum and dad are working, kids are at school, they come in, kids are starving, quick, grab this, stick it in your microwave, and it's convenient and it's crap food.
Yeah, listen to this. Brian's just put, Paris, the ticket on the last Concorde flight, because I remember this when everyone was desperate to fly it.
Yeah.
On the last Concorde flight, for the average round trip price was $12,000, and then in the next comment, each seat used 1 ton of fuel.
Fucking
hell. Wow. $12,000 though. What's that? That's got to be about $8,000 in it for that last flight.
Now.
Yeah. For that one, because they announced that it was the last flight, didn't they?
And if I'm sure it was my son's great grandfather. He was French Canadian, and he was part of the design team that designed the wheels, or something to do with the wheels for Concorde.
Yeah, because they had to be special because of how fast they come in to land. They had to be different to all the other wheels on there. I mean, even a normal wheel on a normal aeroplane, like a Boeing or something.
I mean, it's amazing.
They're pretty special, but a Concorde had to be even better than that and perfect.
Can you imagine the actual kind of friction force, the actual when that hits the ground at that, I mean, you're not talking about a paper aeroplane, are you?
No. You're talking thousands of tons.
When you think about it, it's bizarre that you can get a lump of metal like that to go up in the air and fly.
Yeah. But you know why how an aeroplane flies, don't you? And why it flies?
I tend to think about it when I go on the aeroplane. I like to maybe have a little sleep. Hopefully, before I even take off would be good.
Yeah, but the main trick is all you've got to do is make the air lighter above the aeroplane than it is below the aeroplane. Yeah. That's all you have to do.
I still wouldn't like to be a pilot.
Oh, I mean, I've flown an aeroplane, only the little light crafts, but I've had 3 lessons in it, and I loved it. But to be fair, to do it as a living, it's got to be one of the most boringest jobs in the world because it's not as glamorous as people think it is.
No,
it's
because
not
when
like
they get to the other, people think, oh wow, get to travel well. No, they get put up in like shitty bloody like a hostel.
Yeah, but you're sitting up there and everything just looks the same until you land. The only exciting bit is taking off
drive it. It's on
and landing. Exactly. Is that the only time I would ever love to fly a plane is if I was in a jet fighter where you see the ground, you see how fast you're going, and you do all these maneuvers.
Absolutely,
but to be a pilot in a passenger plane I'm sorry, that's got to be one of the
And
most
I don't think
boringest
they're not
jobs
even
in the
allowed to
world.
leave the cockpit now, are they? Because it's
Yeah,
it's
no, they have to
terrorism
close them,
thing.
don't they? They have to lock them up, don't they?
Yeah, because that
Because
used to be half the fun when you were a kid. You know, you used to be able to go and look in the cockpit halfway through the flight.
yeah, you probably still can. I don't know if you can't, but
I
but
don't
I
think
know
you
that
can.
they have to be locked in it
Brian,
all the time.
Brian, help us out.
Yeah, each seat used to 1 ton. Oh, we're still on that last one.
Brian, slacking. Come on, can't get staff these days, Paris.
Are you? Yeah, but yeah. Can you still go in the cockpit on an aeroplane, Brian? He's going.
Brian's like,
He's
for
going to look it
God's
up.
sake, who put this woman on here with us with Paris? Christ's sake.
It must be an hard one though, because that's how they got duped before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That people wanted
I'm
to go in
sure that
there
they
and
stopped it all. I'm pretty sure that they stopped it all because of that.
yeah, because I think the pilots even got locked out of the cockpit, didn't
That's
they?
right.
When
They
there
did.
were
That's right.
terrorists
Yeah, you're
on
right. I'm sure. Yeah.
yeah.
I think, yeah.
Can you imagine that being on your own plane and being shut out the
Can you
driving
imagine?
seat?
Can you imagine the
Knowing,
panic in the cab? Can you imagine how you
oh,
must have
don't.
felt as a passenger? I can't. I can't. I find it unbearable to even
Brian
try and.
wants us to repeat the question again. Can people still go into the cockpit and see the controls
You know, like when
while
you
it's
used to be able to go
flying,
and sit,
Brian?
like go in and see the pilot when you were a kid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've just got to take my tablets. If you can hear me popping tablets in the background.
I think half of the country's on tablets, to be fair.
Oh, I take so many tablets. It's ridiculous. I take 38 tablets a day.
38?
Yeah.
Fucking
the last
hell.
20 years.
38?
Yeah, painkillers, Crohn's, tablets,
Wow.
anti-sickness. Oh, it's just ridiculous.
Have you tried just taking medical weed and not smoking it?
No, but I tell you what they are doing for me. Well, I've started this new thing. They've it's a new treatment. I go into the hospital as a day patient every 2 weeks, and I have this medication, like IV. Takes 2 hours. I have to have it every 2 weeks for a year. But the results, the difference it makes on people's lives that have got Crohn's is meant to be like fantastic. It is, obviously it's not nice having to go and sit there because you're sat with people that are having their cancer treatments. But it's 2 hours every 2 weeks to have an improvement.
To be honest with you, if I was taking 38 pills a day, I would question if that's really working. I mean, don't let me convince you, but
oh no, I couldn't, I couldn't not have them, not because I couldn't not have them because I'm addicted to them, but if I don't take them because I've tried it, like I'm not going to take them, right? I've tried it, I can't because of the pain, and because of if I don't take certain tablets, then my joints start hurting with the Crohn's, or I start going to the toilet even more. I mean, to put it bluntly, I go to the toilet. On a good day, I go to the toilet maybe 12 to 15 times a day. On a bad day, I'm in the toilet 25 times a day.
Yeah, wow.
And
so you're taking 38 pills a day and you're on the toilet 18 times a day.
Yeah.
Do you get any time to do anything else? Fucking hell.
No. I tend to take things in the toilet.
Yeah.
Sorry. We're just swallowing it. Yeah, I mean,
we got an answer from Brian.
Oh, good.
But you are relying on an old memory. But anyway, there's another one after that. It is still possible to visit some of the remaining 18 airframes, but private owners. Oh God, hang on! I've got a pop-up come right across the screen. I fucking hate these pop-ups. Hang on a minute.
Is that what that ding noise is?
Yeah. I just keep getting pop-ups, and they come right across the screen. Right, where was I? Remaining 18 airframes, but private owners may allow you to go inside and look around if you can find one.
No, but when you're up in the airplane, you're actually
Yeah.
in flight.
Yeah, that's what I think. I have pictures of it from my daughter in an aircraft museum. No, we're talking about when you're flying. Can you still go and visit the pilot in the cockpit while he's flying, Brian? That's what we're talking
You know, like
about.
if you're going on your on your bloody
Yeah.
747.
Have you ever thought of looking at alternative medicine, Helen?
Yeah, well,
Bit like
actually, my dad, both my mum and my dad, you know, my mum was into a lot of homeopathy. My dad into Chinese medicine, everything like that. My dad's one of my dad's best friends. He's actually he's like really like an expert in martial arts or whatever. But he has a health, you know, he's really into obviously, you know, health products
natural
and
medicine.
natural medicine, very much so.
Yeah.
And he still sends you know, my dad certain vitamins and bits and pieces for him, because my dad has to be careful because my dad had kidney problems. But he sends me down a big bottle of aloe vera juice. Each I get that once a month. It's disgusting.
We're not talking. Hang on, sorry, Ellen. Brian, we're not talking about the Concorde. We're talking about planes in general, passenger planes,
Like
big
a Boeing
passenger planes.
747.
Yeah. We're talking about today's planes. Are you allowed to go in the cockpit while they're still flying? Because we used to be able to do it when we was younger, but since all the terrorist stuff happened and the pilots got kicked out of the cockpit,
I'm sure that you're not allowed to do it anymore.
Oh, he's just said no. That's right. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, very strict now. Yeah, but what I was going to say to you, Helen, was I mean I smoked weed for a lot of years. Ganja. I've always smoked ganja, but I started looking to the medical side of ganja because my missus that I was with at the time suffered from fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the London Seed Company where you can buy seeds for weed. And I was looking on the medical side of it, and I couldn't believe that there's
because
so
there's no
many
THC in the medical one, is there?
Pardon?
There's no THC in the medical one, is there?
No. It's CBD, oil. But I actually discovered a seed called Snow White, which was really good for fibromyalgia. But you can't smoke it. You've got to take it.
My mum and dad went to Amsterdam, and my mum had some. While she was there, she tried some medicinal space cakes, right?
Yeah.
And my mum and dad are not like that at all, right? And it was the first night that my mum slept through the night and didn't have to get up to go to the toilet for, I think it was 32 years.
So there's something in it, isn't there?
Whether or not it just absolutely whacked her, I don't know. But she
but I think you'll find. I think you'll find that people that have never had weed will always feel that trace of THC in it. It depends where it comes from. I mean, I've made CBD oil, and I've given it to friends of mine that have never smoked.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got a contact that does all the CBD stuff. I've got ointments and everything like that because I come out in like blisters sometimes, like my mum did. And I use the CBD. It's like a green oily It's like
Yeah,
an
I've had
ointment.
that. Yeah. I've used it
Um,
as a moisturizer because
yeah,
I do it in
yeah, I've got it
moisturizer
too.
work as well. Yeah.
And so I've got that. I have actually used the CBD vape.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just coughed a lot, to be quite honest.
Yeah, but you
Couldn't stop
can't look with CBD. I believe that you're not going to get any benefits from it if you smoke it or vape
No,
it or whatever. I believe
I think yeah, I
you've
think you're
got
right.
to
It's
take it as a
yeah,
medicine.
yeah, I agree.
Because once you smoke something, you're destroying the benefits of what it's meant to do. If you want to
Plus, you're
smoke
taking,
something,
yeah,
smoke THC. Don't smoke CBD
no,
because it's not for that. You put it under your tongue. Do it so many times a day. Make sure you get the right
you know, you
one.
reminded me just
And
like my mum.
I
You
bet.
reminded me of my mum then when she used to give me like belladonna under your tongue. Because we used to have in Windsor, there used to be a big homeopathic shop. You know, because actually the royal family used to use the shop. You know, it had, you know, the coat of arms on it. You know, by royal appointment or whatever.
Yeah.
Because the Queen was actually did like alternative medicine.
I think there's a lot in alternative medicine.
I think there is.
I think we mastered it years ago, and the NHS or whoever thought of the NHS has decided, let's get rid of all these natural remedies and make it chemical because someone somewhere is going to make a lot of money.
But also,
because they couldn't make it out. You can't make money out of natural
no,
medicine.
But also, lifestyles have completely changed. I mean, you know,
yeah, we're in the
people don't
fast.
grow their own food. I mean, they are going back to. I've actually grown my own vegetables. It's the first time I've ever done it, and I just really had to. Oh, I'm sorry, my dog stinks.
Oh, you got one as well.
I've got 3 indoors. Thank you.
Oh God. Yeah. Funny enough, you saying that my dog hasn't actually farted for a little while.
Oh, this one's ripe enough. You'll probably smell it through the phone.
Yeah. I've had my share tonight. Mine's chilled out.
And you know the worst thing is he always waits until he gets in the car and does it as well.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? It's got to be a nerve thing, isn't it? What stresses them out? Because
nerve thing, it's laying upside down with its legs in the air.
Yeah.
Fast asleep, snoring.
Whenever my dog farts, it's always got its arse facing me.
Oh yeah. They know. Oh, it's disgusting. I'm so sorry.
What did Brian say? Due to the laws and the terror. Yeah, we thought that, Brian. But he's also put Concorde was never sold as a private jet. We know that, but it was subsidised by the public, to be fair. Wasn't it? Because it couldn't pay for itself. We subsidised that, to be fair.
But then it was an icon, wasn't it? I mean,
of course it was. They wanted to keep it going. I mean, at the end of the day, before Concorde, right, we was going subsonic anyway. You go to that, what was it, Hereford Museum. You go there and they've got this plane there, a black plane, right?
Yes, I know the one you mean.
Yeah,
it was that looks like a flat kind of, looks a bit like a stingray shape.
Yeah, it's almost like
thing.
Very stealthy, yeah. And that plane was only used to go over and take pictures and make maps because it was so fast. By the time they had heard it, it had gone, so they could never shoot it down. But when I was reading about that plane, I actually saw that plane in that museum, and I was in awe of it. Absolutely fucking stunning shape, beautiful plane, and it was the wings everything on that plane expanded almost a foot. So when that plane was flying, it actually leaked.
Yes.
It actually leaked
I've
because
watched
it
programs.
stretched that
Yeah.
much.
Because
It's
of
like
because of the
because of how
G-force.
hot and everything else it got.
Mm.
But like it was like when you read about it, it was like, wow, and someone flew that supersonic speed. That was that.
I mean, it must
That
be
was that during the
insane.
wars. That was well before
Yeah.
Concorde was
Yeah.
invented.
Crazy, isn't it?
Oh my God!
But
I
right,
could
so
smell your dog's fart.
here's a question. So when they've developed all these new kind of like way out there, like holy moly, that's like really advanced. Do you think do you think that it is just really brainy engineers and scientists and whatever that have made that up, or do you think that there's possibility that there may have been, don't laugh at me, but there may have been, say, some, because I think that there are things out there, because we can't be the only thing, Pete. We can't be the only thing in the whole universe, right? But I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. Do you think? I mean, when you look back at kind of like the way that, you know, like the Mayans built their things, and then, you know, the Egyptian with such precision and such skill, that I can't that does my head in too.
Yeah, but it's like I was talking about this the other day, Helen, right? And I was thinking like, all right, let's put this into perspective, right, with these people with the pyramids, right? Because you've got to remember, right, whenever we're given a situation, we master it to the millimeter, whatever it is, right? So why can't people that are stonemasons, because there's not that many of them about now,
No, there's
but
not.
they are about, right? But if you're talking about thousands of years ago, when all they knew was about mastering how
Yeah, it's just that one.
chisel
Yeah,
a stone,
that's very true.
they're gonna
But
they're gonna master that to the
with whatever means
millimeter,
that they can. Yeah,
right?
that's very true. I didn't really look at
So, what the way I see it, people look through history and they think, oh, back then we was really stupid, but now we're really intelligent. But we actually are not, because ever since
we are
computers
lazier, much lazier.
we've become reliable on computers and stupid. But if we put our minds to it, it's like people master the computer just like they mastered stonemasonry back then. So I get that they could build a pyramid back then because that's all they knew what to do.
Yeah, you're right, and because that's all they would do, and it's not like they had to run the kids to school, come home,
exactly.
You know, I did that. Yeah, they didn't have. It was literally that's all they done.
It's like when people made swords. It's like they go, look at the craftsmanship in that. We couldn't do that now. But if that's all they knew then, they're going to master it to its absolute max, because they wasn't stupid back then. We just lacked the knowledge we've got now.
Well, we lazy because we have machines to do it for us.
Yeah, well, I always said that we fucked up when we accepted the washing machine and the fridge, because we did. Once those things were invented, we got lazier and lazier.
It is quite convenient having a washing machine, though.
And a fridge. It's very convenient, because what it does is it frees up your time so that you can go and do something else and learn about something else, because this machine's doing that for you and you don't have to take up no time to think about it. If it breaks down, you go and buy a new one.
Yeah.
And then you can move on. But I always believed that life has just happened how it's happened, and we've always mastered whatever
In a
we've
way, the
learned.
microwave was a very bad decision as well.
Yeah,
Thinking
yeah,
about it
yeah.
in those terms.
But it suits some people's lives. There's a lot of things that are bad decisions. Guns, they're a bad
Oh
decision,
God.
but they've got their good side, just like microwaves have,
Yeah.
and fridges and ovens and everything else. They've got good sides and bad sides, but I don't believe we're any more intelligent now than we was back then. It's just that things have changed, and whatever we learn, there's always someone out there that will master it.
Yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, I didn't really think about it like that.
And I don't think there's aliens out there at all. I think
No.
no, I don't. I think we are a one. I mean, look, I can argue about this all day, right? What would you call an alien? I mean, I would call an alien.
I don't think there's these. I don't think there's these. I don't think there's like these like woo awesome things. But I don't know. I don't know what they'd look like. I don't know what they'd be like.
All right, look at it like this, Ellen. Right, let's break it down. Right, let's really simplify it. Right, everything that you see that comes to this world, right, is very aerodynamic and looks like a flying saucer. Yeah. Now that to me answers volumes, because when we send something out in space, it looks like a big box. It's got great big wings on it. It can do 17,000 miles an hour. It hasn't got to have no aerodynamics to it at all, right? So why would you be living millions of light years away? I mean, let's get this into context. We're talking about something that does 186,000 miles a second, which is astronomical speed, right? That's a light year, right? If you can do that for a year, that's a light year. 186,000 miles.
It's concepts that you can't actually imagine, isn't it?
But listen to this, right? So if you're that far away, because we've looked so far into space and we haven't found nothing, so anything that's going to come here is going to be thousands or millions of light years away, right? So why would you create something that's going to go through space for that amount of time and make it look like a flying saucer that looks impossible to live in, when you can make it look like a box with great big flappy solar wings on and still do the same speed? But yet when you get here, it's got to look like an aerodynamic saucer, because it has to fly through your atmosphere.
I know, but I mean, I don't disagree with you. I don't know. Maybe it's just that little kind of like mystery, kind of like I wonder if. But obviously, I don't think there's like great big grey 8-foot beings walking around with like big black eyes and giant heads. But I suppose it's that you can't definitely 100% say that there isn't.
Well, look, if we talk about aliens, right? I actually believe.
I love watching with the telescope, that new telescope where they've got those most fantastic pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah, it is brilliant. But I actually believe that there is aliens out there. But my concept of what an alien would be anything that can grow in the environment that it's on,
yes,
and survive. To me, that's an alien. Whether it's a little green bit of weed, or anything like that.
A life form. Something that that's living. Doesn't matter what it is.
Anything that can survive on the planet it's on. But when I say no, there's no aliens out there or extraterrestrial, like it's kind of a contradictory, but there's no intelligence. But you can even say that a micro whatever that is surviving on a planet is intelligent.
Yeah, they really
because
should call it an
surviving,
alien, really,
but,
should they?
but
Like
a lot of people will always think that when you're talking about intelligent life on other planets, people think that they're sitting up there watching telly, waiting for us to give them a phone call. No, I don't think
don't.
so.
All I've got visions of is like a 1950s black and white program with these aliens in these silly suits and like really bad TV program.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of contradictory, but everyone's perception of what a UFO or an alien is completely different. But in my mind, you will never find anything that can invent a phone and phone us up, or make a flying saucer or a spaceship. Something out there, it's possible that it can live on that planet. But I bet if you brought it here...
Also, I'm not being funny, but just say there was other living beings, right? Just say that in the same kind of form as us or whatever, right? Right over the other side of the galaxy, and they were capable of making an aircraft that could travel, millions of, God knows, right across, right? Why would they want to come to our planet when we can't do that, what they could do? Why would they want to do that?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, even if they got here, Ellen, they wouldn't be able to survive on our planet anyway. Because it's got to be exactly the same. It's like Brian just said, here on Earth, in the extreme environments, we have in deep sea and around hot vents and under. I know we do, Brian, because I've watched all the documentaries. I'm a dive master, so I'm going to look
at the, isn't it?
I've seen it.
Mariana Trench.
Do you know what they reckon that
that's 7 miles deep or something? That is.
Yeah, I think it's about 8 miles. But it's probably deeper stuff than that we ain't discovered. But even in the North Pole, they reckon that there's viruses and shit like that in there that have been on this planet for years and are laying dormant. And they've even proved it, that they've actually brought this shit back to life after thousands of years.
I can't imagine. I mean, I can't imagine what is under that. Can you imagine what it's like under that ice? Can you imagine how incredible that would be under that? I mean, you would never get under it, but could you imagine what it was actually like underneath?
Yeah, but the thing is, they've actually bored holes in that miles down, and they've brought up creatures that have been laying dormant for thousands of years.
I remember watching when Attenborough's program first came out with all those with all the sea life that was like that came out with all the luminous colours and stuff.
Oh
yeah. I mean, it was just phenomenal.
Yeah, because they've got no light down there, so they flick light through their through their body.
They're blind, aren't they? Or they don't have any eyes or stuff.
Yeah.
And
but you even see people doing cave diving where you've got fish with no eyes because they've always lived in there and gone through thousands of years of living like that. Fish that are transparent.
Yeah.
You put a torch
and they
on
don't
them,
have
through the whole
some
thing.
of them don't have like any kind of skeletal thing or whatever because because of the pressure. I think it was because of the pressure.
Yeah.
The actual pressure.
But I've
also watched programs where they didn't realise that there was some huge sharks that they could go deeper than they even realised they could go. I watched something like that. It was in the last year. It was fascinating.
Yeah, I used to watch all that stuff because I've done diving myself. It makes you look into that stuff more because I used to dive a lot of shipwrecks.
Did you? I'd love to do that.
Yeah, it's fucking incredible. Honestly,
I'd love to do that.
I went to Egypt and I was diving 3 to 4 shipwrecks a day because I was on a liverboard. And I'll tell you, so I've dived the Fisselgom, the Rosalie Muller, and I'll tell you, you fucking ain't lived until you've done that shit.
That is fucking
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I'd love that. I think that would be on my bucket list.
Well, I've done it, so I'm going to tick that one off. But
that I would like to do, and I'd like to go on a ghost hunt. Proper ghost.
I think I find all that stuff shit. To be fair, Ellen. I mean, I ain't discrediting what you believe, because everyone believes in everything different. But I don't believe in ghosts, and I don't believe in aliens coming to visit us. The only aliens I believe that are ever going to visit our planet is the AIs that this planet are going to create and bring down to scare us all into submission. That's the closest thing we're ever going to get to aliens. And it's going to be our own system that's going to do it to us, just to get us to bow down and give them everything they want. Because we've got the technology to do that. So why would we be looking out into space, believing that they're going to come from fucking light years away?
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe we're going to be attacked by. You know, they say that they keep an eye out. You know, and they monitor space. You know, I don't think nobody's going to. You know, we're not going to have an alien invasion. You know, where they come down and start blowing us all up. I think it's
War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
It'd be our planet that does it to us. That's what I believe. I believe our planet's going to make an AI that's going to come and attack us to make us bow down and be slaves for the rest of everyone.
Would you have like a robot as in it? You know, like in that program, there's a film, and it's literally like a proper human, but it's a robot. Would you have one of those to help you around the house, say?
No. 100% no, I wouldn't.
Why? I'm not saying it's right. I just wondered why. What?
Yeah, but why would I want to? Just to do my ass work?
Sounds quite nice. No.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
it's a sad existence if you've got to have a robot as a mate.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's like you've got to trust the system to be doing what you want them to do. Now, I believe in that the worst thing that goes against us is the data that we give out about ourselves. That is so powerful. So why would we want an AI working for us that can collect everything about us?
The thing that would concern me is if it went wrong.
Well, it will go wrong.
And it went wrong, and it like attacked you. That would be my concern. Plus,
the thing is,
you don't really need a robot as a friend, do you? But
the way you've got to look at it, right, is the ones that rule are the ones that control, right? So if everyone bought an AI and it wasn't genuine, it was working, say, for the government, for instance, why wouldn't the government take full advantage of that robot that you're using? Why wouldn't they? Because they took advantage of everything else.
Yeah. And on the flip side as well, I mean, can you imagine the amount of kind of financial crime, the amount of like electronic crime as such that could be used via one of those things?
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, if you had an AI, right, and it was given a gun and it was there to protect you, it was there to protect you, and it shot someone, is that 100% given that robot was right and the person was a threat?
No.
You know what I mean? How far does that shit go?
No, and supposing it turns a gun on you, not a chance in hell. That would I'd not even give it a second thought. Not a chance.
Yeah, but if the system did invent a robot that did have a child and it was there to protect you, the last thing they would want it to do is to shoot you, because straight away people are going to see that that's not the way forward. But you look at these cars that drive on their own. There's been a few crashes. Yeah, there's been a few crashes, isn't there? But they get swept under the carpet.
Yeah. I remember, I think it was on Top Gear. They were saying, like the proper Top Gear, but I think they were saying that they would say, oh yeah, you can go fall asleep and drive it, blah 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 blah. But if it ran out of electric, if it was like a hybrid, it ran out of electric or something like that, and it clicked onto fuel, and you were fast asleep, the self-drive system shut down, and people were it was just crashing.
Yeah.
With
Brian's
no
still
warning
talking
to
about.
drive. I find it difficult enough because my car can park itself. I find that difficult enough concept. It makes me feel odd, but it's only taken me about 4 years to get used to it.
Well, I've never had a car. I've never had a car that's that advanced. To be fair,
it's really it just feels so wrong. It goes.
My car's not
everything.
even got sensors on it. That's how backward I am.
It just goes against everything that you want to do.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's weird.
Brian's just wrote a message. The Hancock Project studied underwater volcanoes and discovered the new species specific to the vent. Yeah, I've seen that, Brian. With all the crabs. You know what? I've even seen it where you get the levels of heat in water and there's actually islands underwater.
Yeah.
Miles.
And they've got a lot of volcanoes near Japan, haven't they, underwater? Because I think there's quite a serious threat of some part of Japan being, if it all erupts, it would just be like a living nightmare.
Do you know what? Like Brian was talking about that with the stuff in these vents. It's the vents, right? And I can't believe the amount of life that was thriving around boiling water
sulfur
at the bottom. Yeah, at the bottom of these oceans. You think that's boiling water, and yet there's creatures here surviving. But to me, they're not aliens because they're on our planet. We've discovered them now, and we know their role in life. But we still haven't discovered life on other planets. But to me, when we do, that's the aliens. That is an alien to me. But that's not an alien with intelligence.
I don't think there's like a human form alien out there. I don't.
Yeah. They can communicate with each other, but it doesn't go beyond that. It doesn't reach out to other planets. It's just something that survives.
Like a living organ. Like a living organism.
Yeah. I don't think. I think that.
Or bacteria or
to be
whatever.
fair, I don't know whether we are lucky or we're not lucky. It's like when we do discover another life form out there, that will be unique to that environment, and that's it. Just like we are to our environment. I don't think we will ever find another species like us on another planet.
No, and I think you're absolutely right, because not only that, practical wise, if there was something in our range, we would have found it already. Because there's no way that we could travel right over to the other side of the bloody galaxy. It's just not physically possible.
Another thing that sticks in my head, right? If there was intelligent life like us out there, right, which I doubt in a million years, right? It's so far away that it goes extinct
before it
even gets to a fraction of space.
You couldn't. It's not.
So
it's
why
not
worry
possible.
about it?
Yeah.
I think the biggest threat to us is on this planet. Nowhere else in space, apart from meteorites and things like that. The only threat to us is us. I've always said we are going to kill ourselves. No one else.
We will us. Yeah, we will destroy each other. I mean, that's I agree. I think I think that I think that we would destroy our own race. 100%. 100%.
I just think life's a lot more simpler than we try to make out to be. It's a lot more black and white than we try to make it out to be.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's so many kind of things. There's so many. I don't know how to explain it. You know, there's so many things that people
Greed, Brian. That's what it is. Greed.
used to cause issues. So you know, people go to say, for instance, people go to what's it called, Thingy Corner.
What, Speaker's Corner?
Thank you. Right, you go there to start shouting at each other. Basically,
Yeah.
that's what that's for. You go there.
I've seen a few fights there though.
Oh yeah, but you go.
I'm only on YouTube. I've never been there, and
I've
I
never
don't
been
really
there.
want to
I've
go
never
there.
been there, but I do occasionally watch it on YouTube to see if it kicks off.
Yeah, I've seen a few fights there.
Yeah, but I mean that's.
But it never used to be like that. To
No.
be fair, Ellen.
No, but
It's
this
only
is
recently
the problem.
that
Everybody's
fight-
getting so het up, and
Yeah.
everybody gets so wound up, and everybody's winding each other up. And you know, you there is a division. There is a division in society now, and you've got you know, the truthers as such, and then you've got the, you know, the I don't even know what to call, you know, and you know, and neither side are willing to give and take and understand the other side either. And I'm 100% guilty of that as myself. I believe that we live on a planet. We don't live on a flat. The Earth is not flat, right?
No.
And I'm stubborn in certain things like that. I'm not going to walk to the end of the Earth and fall off because I've had my COVID jab, as I was told, right? But so you know, hands up, I'm guilty. I can be very stubborn like that too. But I think that if both sides could give a little and just understand a bit more from both sides on certain things, it would be less volatile.
But the thing is, we've got to remember that we're only human and everyone's got flaws.
Absolutely.
But a lot of people just don't want to give and take. We've all got
they don't.
flaws. And we're not always right about everything.
Yeah. I mean, there are certain things that is totally unacceptable, and I will never accept it. The way that people have treated you, unacceptable. The way that, you know, I've seen anti-Semitism. You know, I've seen unacceptable. The way people treat other people, unacceptable. There's no need for that to ever happen in this day and age, right?
Oh, thanks, Dave. Good night, mate.
But there are things that people can give and take on. If that person wants to, I don't know, you know, if that person, right, let's take for instance, that person wants to have their vaccination, right, that's up to them. If they don't want to have it, that's up to them. I've not been funny. What impact does somebody that has or hasn't have on me?
Yeah.
But it's, you know, but that seems to have been the sparking point.
Yeah. It seems like life was a lot better when it was just simple. But what was that? What was that?
You know,
Brian's put, finally, the most probable fate of the planet is absorption by the sun in about 7.5 billion years. And that's true. That's true. Everything lives and everything dies.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, the sun won't burn forever, will it?
No, well, they reckon when the sun dies, it's going to get so big that it will swallow our planet up anyway.
Really?
When it dies, as it dies,
when it will turn into a black hole.
No, it will swell up and absorb. It will get so big that it will absorb our planet before it dies. Why it's dying?
It would just be blown up because of the, you know, the heat. That then it would just blow to bits.
Well, they reckon when the sun dies, it expands and gets bigger and bigger. But
yeah, so it will just literally, it will just be so big that it will just hit us, and that'll be it, gone.
Yeah, and then it will implode and become fuck all. I mean, like, it's like I used to watch a lot of things about space, and it's like, you know, like when you get some rocks are heavy and some rocks are light. They reckon that there's some rocks out there that are so heavy that are the size of a 10 pence, because they're so compact, they become that heavy. And it's like, how can you get your head around that shit?
No, you see
Because at the end of the
that's
day,
exactly what I'm like.
some rocks are heavier than others.
Mm.
So somewhere along the line, there must be a rock that's heavier than all of the heavier rocks, because they've imploded. They're so compact that they're.
Could you imagine if there was a rock then that was heavier that the ground couldn't hold?
Yeah, there's rocks out there that are like that. They're so heavy, but they're tiny. But they're probably heavier than this planet. And if they hit the planet, it goes straight through it.
Yeah.
It's not like just what we know on this planet. There's shit out there that are just beyond belief.
I know. That's what
there
I
are
find
rocks
incredible.
out there.
That's what I find incredible. Like the distances, it's just incredible. You can't possibly. You can't. There's no concept of how far that is, and I mean, you can't imagine it, can you?
No, I reckon that the intelligent people on this planet know that this planet is going to perish one day.
Mm.
I reckon they probably know that there's something out there that's millions of light years away that's aiming right for us, and I find it fascinating, right, that through my lifetime we've really neglected space, but all of a sudden we're so into it now that we're trying to create a spaceship. The fear is there, they get it and they understand it. They're trying to make a spaceship now, and the fuel that runs this spaceship is space itself. Now, you're never going to run out of fuel if you can create something like that. They reckon that it's possible they can make that spaceship, and I don't think they're very far off of it. They've got the theory right. They've just got to get the technology right. Because like, when you think about it, right,
whatever it is that they've launched now, that satellite that's going right across, that's like, because that is like just going on like momentum, isn't it? On the pull of the like gravitational pull and whatever from different planets.
It's like space is something, right? We've always thought that space is nothing, but space is something, and it does create some type of wave. So now what they're trying to do is work on this wave, so they pull it in and suck it out, so that space itself pulls your spaceship along. And it's like, wow.
That's, I mean, that, and to be quite honest, that will be, I think that would have to be the way forward.
Yeah.
In general, in a certain, like in theory, in a lot of years to come, because let's face it, we have abused this planet. I mean, we have. I'm not like a Greenpeace and all that and all of the, but when you think about it, we have abused it. We have actually not really taken care of our environment as best we could.
Well, you've got to look at space, isn't you? Look how much shit is up in space. It's like we're not allowed to chuck a fag butt on the floor, but these cunts with money have absolutely tarnished space with rubbish and litter.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Absolutely everywhere. Yeah. When you look at a map of all the rubbish that we've created in space, it's fucking disgusting. But yet we can't chuck a fucking fag butt on the floor.
Yeah, we can't chuck a fag butt, but we've I mean, don't get me wrong, technology moves on and the internet, all that. But you, like you say, you can't chuck a fag on the floor, right? But we've laid cable. I mean, God knows how many thousands and thousands of miles of electrical cable into the sea and
Yeah,
on the seabed for the
Yeah.
internet.
and we still do that now because,
Yeah.
like, we're so backwards, really. To get from A to B, we still have to run cables. We're not that clever.
No, we're not that clever. We shouldn't have to do
Not
that.
that-
If you can have a wireless printer or a wireless in your house, why can't you run it wireless across the world?
It's like even all these satellites in space, right? They still have to adjust them every single day, or we'd lose our sat navs, everything. We'd lose it all because they go out of sync every fucking day. They have to reset them.
We aren't very advanced when you think about it.
No, we aren't. We're just good. Like I said before,
Yeah.
when we know something, we master it and we get really good at it. But we're still quite a backward race.
We are
Very
well,
clever.
We have the odd, the odd random, incredible human like what's his face, and that invent things and that discover things that are like once in a lifetime geniuses.
Tesla.
And what's he called? Stephen Hawkins. People like or people. There are just.
I don't think he was that clever because what did he really teach us? He taught us fuck all.
No,
When
but
you
I did watch.
people-
I did watch.
When you look at the stuff
there was
that
him and two other
Tesla's
scientists,
done,
and there was something. It was actually about black holes, and it was. I mean, it was so. I mean, you just couldn't get your head around it. But it was the three of them working together, and I mean, the intelligence between them. You just think, wow. But then again, you can look at it and say, well, it's all kind of like it's mathematics and algebra. But I couldn't.
I'm just reading Brian's stuff.
What's Brian saying? I can't see anything.
He's saying a lot of stuff in the chat, but I can't read it all. The slowing down is the issue with a laser light cell, but we could reach near light speed. I spoke with a NASA scientist about this. He broke my head with facts.
But oh my god.
Yeah, but a NASA scientist only has got a specific field to deal with. He doesn't know everything because you can't. That's why he's fucked your head up, Brian. Because they've got.
I think you've got to be a special kind of person that want to be a specialist in something like, not in space, but I mean like to work in like electronic magnification. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, you've got to be a bit. You've got to be a little bit like wonky to start with to want to do that.
Yeah, but they just break it down, don't they? And they'll get their heads together and then they come to a conclusion, or it all goes in the computer. Not one scientist knows it all across the board.
No.
They can't.
No.
It's impossible. But I believe that we are going to be the race that is going to go from one planet to another because that's the only way forward for our survival. And it's our instinct to survive.
Yeah, I mean that's why we're out there now trying to discover. That's the basis for trying to discover whether or not there's life out there anyway. Because inevitably, once this planet, we won't stop existing. We might, I don't think anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely, Brian. He's definitely smarter than us. That's why he's got the job he's got, 100%. But I'm just saying, he probably only knows a fraction of.
I bet he's no good down the pub quiz on a Friday night, though.
What's that?
I bet he's no good on the pub quiz on a Friday night, though.
Yeah, he's probably one of these people that just don't fit in, to be fair, because when your mind's like that, you're bordering.
But you're bordering, yeah.
To be fair, because
a lot of really,
you can't
socialise.
socialise.
No common sense either.
Yeah. Well, they just can't socialise. They can't put a shelf up, but they're very good in their field. And that's the way we are.
Well, they say genius is bordering on madness, isn't it? Or whatever it is.
Pardon?
They say genius is bordering on madness or whatever it is.
Yeah, they do. Because when you look at a lot of them, they are a bit.
They are wackos. They are wacky.
Yeah.
It's madness.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel safe in the knowledge that it's our own planet's going to fuck us up. No one else.
But I think we're going to be a long time dead before that happens.
Oh, we will be, yeah.
Hopefully.
But you worry about your
unless
kids and
we
your
all get
kids
blown
and your
up by a
kids' kids.
nuclear bloody bomb.
Yeah, I don't know if that would ever happen. I don't know if that
I
would
don't
ever
think it
happen.
would happen.
Because if one gets set off and then they all go off and then that's the end of
I don't
humanity.
think it gets to that point. I think
No.
there could be. I think that there could potentially be an attempt, maybe, but I think that it would be stopped before it even starts.
Do you know what? There has actually been very close calls to actually a nuclear war where people have misunderstood, nearly set it off, which would have caused all the countries to set them off. And it's just accidents. And it's like, wow, we're all sitting here struggling and trying to survive. And there's people out there that have got things wrong and nearly pressed the button. That's mind-boggling when you got mistakes like that can actually happen.
Well, I mean, look at bloody Chernobyl. I mean, that was human error, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
Well, Chernobyl was just a nuclear power station that blew up.
Yeah, but that was that. I mean, the damage that done. But that's
nowhere near. That's nowhere near.
I know, but just we're thinking about the damage that little thing done compared to, an atomic bomb, say, or a nuclear bomb. Is
we've set off atomic bombs. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that Chernobyl. I mean that one in China was bad as well, wasn't it? But that Chernobyl one, that they had to clear. Like,
isn't it something like
cities
and
miles.
it's still off the scale.
It's
based on a program not so long ago, and not only and it caused deformities because the animals had it and people were eating it, and
But did you know people still live there and people still go and visit that place? But you can, when you go and visit that place, you can actually only stay there for so long. And you have
I think it's something like 7 minutes, isn't it? Or no, it might be a bit longer. There was a program not so long ago.
It's a lot longer than that, but you have to be you always got to have this monitor with you. But I watched a program quite a while ago where there's people that have never moved out of there.
Yeah, and like older people
in the ground and everything.
Yeah.
But
and
obviously they're going to be fucked up.
They've been all right, and they've got animals as well that have been all right.
Yeah, but the thing is as well, they're not going to reproduce because normally the people that you see that actually still live there are old and never going to have kids anyway. They're all that's long gone.
But I mean, I think it's probably the same program that you watched because then they showed. I've watched a program. It might even been on that program where they showed that the physical deformities from the next generation. I mean, it's just awful.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But you could say that about thalidomide, can't you? When they introduced that fucking pill.
They prescribed my mum some of this life. She took one tablet and she said to my dad, I don't feel right. I don't want to take this. Thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, horrific. And I've watched a program on, now, what was it? Is it Yellow? I can't remember. It was a what do you call it? When a chemical agent, Brian. It brought them out in like blisters, and then it created deformities as well. And there was, I don't know where it was. There was all these children in this hospital. They got all these. Oh, it's awful. I can't remember what it's called. It was like a chemical agent that was used. I want to call it yellow something.
No, I don't know. I don't know what that is. The only yellow I know is jaundice.
I'm sure it was something. I can't bloody remember what it's called.
Well, they've done loads of shit like that though, where they say, "Oh, this is great for this," but they've never experimented with it long enough Just like I think, to be fair, with the vaccine, I think
I mean,
I
had
think
mine.
that's going to come back and bite us in the arse, to be fair.
I have had mine. I think, do I regret it? I don't regret it, but there is a little niggle at the back of my mind, I have to say, because
Agent
now
Orange.
they said that I keep getting swollen ankles, right? Really badly, swollen feet, swollen ankles.
Yeah.
They said to me it's my Crohn's. Since I've been on my big dose of steroids, they've come right down and not swelled. But for 8 months, not long after having, after my final vaccination, it started to happen. Now, it could just have been coincidence.
Yeah.
But there's that little niggle that I think, I wonder.
Yeah.
And I do have a little niggle, and I'm thinking, I hope my son's, because my son's had, and I think, I hope it's not going to cause any problems for his children. You can't help but worry when you do see, because you can see that there have been side effects, because it was produced very, very quickly, but they had to do something. They couldn't have just
Charlie Girl just said Agent Orange.
That's
now,
it. That's it.
I remember an Agent Orange where they used it in Vietnam to blast them out the tunnels.
And that's it. Agent Orange. That's it. Oh, thank God you found it. That was horrific. It's horrifying.
Brian put dengue fever type. dengue fever type. Yeah, but Agent Orange, I remember that because they used that in Vietnam to get them out the tunnels, gas them out or something. And I think there was a lot of deformities after that.
Yeah, the children were horrifically deformed. There was
I just don't give a fuck, did I?
No.
I absolutely don't give a fuck.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting that actually that people could come up with to do that to other people. It's like I find it. I mean, obviously, I'm Jewish, and I find it horrific that people compare. Having the option of having or at the time, you weren't allowed in a shop without your mask on. Comparing that to the Holocaust, I can't ever get my head around that, because that's just a pissing insult. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I was watching a thing on about Germany today, actually, about Hitler with his bunker and his girlfriend and all that. It was like, fucking hell, man. That was fucking mad. Absolutely mad.
I think it was my great uncle, my great uncle or something, Bob Boy, and he got put in the camp, and his 2 best friends were shot either side of him, and he had all their brains all over him, and it sent him nutty. Yeah. And when he came back, when he survived him, when he came back to London, he was like off his rocker, completely off his rocker, and he held up the bus. He held up a bus one day. He thought that it was full of SS soldiers. He held up the bus in the middle of the East End.
Yeah. This is why I think we should never forget history.
Never.
But the thing is, I just feel like it's repeating itself again, but in a different way, to be fair.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it used there is a civil rising that's like I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a civil war kind of situation going to happen, because people are getting more and more wound up, like I said, and they are using old things, for example, being homophobic or transphobic or anti-Semitic, they're using those undertones to get to push out the extremes on whatever side, any and every side, to push forwards. And I think there's a lot of people that are very easily led.
There's a lot of people out there that just want to blame someone, but they're still not looking at their government leaders for all the shit what's going on. They're not looking after the people. They're looking after themselves now because of the big money they get, and they're desperate to hang on to that. They just seem to cause
it's
confusion
difficult
everywhere.
because I mean, politics. Just for me, I'm just like, oh.
I can't be bothered with it, to be fair.
I can't
because
either.
like, how can you be that backwards?
I know. I mean, I know it's oh well, it can affect your life. Well, actually, to be quite honest, I couldn't give two tosses. But I think whoever was going to be the prime minister was going to be wrong. First of all, it didn't matter what they'd done; they were going to be wrong because, to be quite honest, the situation, with the pandemic, that situation was like it. I mean, it's just like I'm not being funny, but nobody could have envisaged that. Like Winston Churchill couldn't have, like his situation, like what he had with the war, that was like its own. It was like it's not normal.
Oh, we've got a question here from Joy Deacon. Welcome to the show, Joy. Question: why do Jewish men get circumcised? A, because Jewish women won't touch anything unless it's 20% off. Oh my God. Fuck's sake. Thanks for that, Joy.
But I'm so tight. I squeak when I walk because that's what Jews are. Cobwebs come out of my wallet when I pull it out.
Well, why does someone have to come on with something stupid like that, though?
I know. It's silly, isn't it?
It's all right if they put joke before, but like it's not even that.
I know. It's like, next.
Brian's come up with something. Hang on. I would feel better talking about more relevant facts than causing hatred after a night as I would be so drained doing that. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. Why are there so many paedophiles in the House of Parliament? That's what I don't get, and they get away with it. I mean, I thought we cherished all our kids, but
I think that there's a lot in society. Full stop.
Yeah, it seems like
it wouldn't surprise me if the ratio didn't reflect it from Parliament. Didn't reflect in government that reflects on the whole entire of the public.
It seemed like there was a switch in society where wrong was right and right was wrong. To me, it didn't happen that long ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, but it seemed like we changed and right was wrong and wrong was right. It's like we've got to look out for this person. They've committed this crime because
I never understand that. I don't understand that theory. Oh no, we've got to make sure that person is safe because it's. I know that they've raped children, but we can't have anybody hurting them.
But we need to take care of them. Yeah,
that's not right. My nan, my dad's mum, she used to say, what these people need is branding. Like you brand an animal. And you'd have rapist right in the middle of their forehead. She said it would stop a lot of the crime if you started branding people. She was right. I wouldn't want to go around with that on my head. So everybody knew what you'd done.
Joey, if you're going to act like an idiot, I'll just block you. So just sort yourself out, for fuck's sake.
I can't see the chat. Was it another joke?
Sort of, yeah. I ain't gonna bother reading it out.
No, it's not worth it.
Doesn't deserve the.
It's nothing that we haven't heard before. It can at least come up with something
new. Never mind. People have got to remember there's only one race on this planet.
Yes.
But for some unknown reason, everyone seems to think there's a lot of races on this planet.
I mean,
it's the human race. It's all there is on this planet.
Yeah,
the human race.
I don't care what anybody wants, how anybody wants to live their life. don't, you know, nothing apart from obviously, you know, if it's, you know, if you're a paedophile, I mean, that's, do you know what I mean? But if you, you know, I don't understand. I don't understand why people are abusive to other people because of either the way they live their life, who they're attracted to, what they're wearing, you know, what their skin color is. You know,
It's like we're all abusive, but it feels to me like we're programmed to be like that, but no one wants to be like that. I don't care.
I think
Joey Deacon said, "Cheer up, Helen."
oh, okie dokie. I think that there's a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate, and I think it's easier for people to be hateful than to be nice. And people have forgotten it's nice to be nice.
Yeah. It's easier to smile than it is to be growly. Takes up less muscles as well, apparently.
You get less wrinkles.
Yeah, probably. I'm past that anyway, so I'm just letting
I don't know, but I'd have plastic surgery.
You have?
No, I haven't yet.
You haven't.
But,
no.
But if I had, you know, if I was, say that, you know, forget all finances and whatever, if I wanted plastic surgery done, I would have it done. I wouldn't have like loads and loads and loads like Cody White. But if I would,
I would have it if I was disfigured, but I wouldn't waste my money or time on trying to make myself look younger because I wanna grow old gracefully.
Yeah. But also sometimes it's people's if it helps your mental health as well, though, you know, not just because you want to look fat, you know, 20 years younger, but so, like my mum had her face lasered because she had such deep, you know, like by her mouth where she'd been screaming in agony. She had really deep lines, and it drove her mad. She hated it. You know, it was affecting her mental health, and she had her face lasered. It was horrific.
I can imagine that.
It was horrific. I've never seen anything like it. She had to have Vaseline on her face constantly. I think it was for either 2 or 3 months.
Whoa.
But I mean, it was a fantastic result. But I mean, you literally have the whole face burnt.
So I'll go to I have to go to electrolysis to have all the hairs pulled out of my face.
I would love to have that done. Not on my face.
That's fucking painful.
Is it?
Yeah. Electrolysis. They stick a pin in the air and then they electrocute it so it burns the bloodline to the hair and then they pull the hair out. And you have to have that done with every single hair. And it amazes me how much hair you've actually got in your face when you have to go through pain like that. I mean, you don't have to because you are a woman, but I'm a transgender woman.
But you know,
oh my god, my dog's farted.
But you know, we still have, you know, everybody has facial hair.
Yeah, I know, but your hair is completely different to mine.
Yeah,
mine's like a proper moustache and beard.
And does that last? Because as far as I know, I thought because once you've had that, it lasts. It doesn't come back then, ever, does it?
Well, it doesn't, but there's only a certain success rate. So sometimes they have to do the hair 3 or 4 times.
A bit like having a tattoo removed. That's like being stung by a bee.
I've had plenty of tattoos, but I've not had them removed. But I can imagine what that's.
I've got a couple of tattoos.
Yeah. But when you have that done all around your lip, that's the most painfulest bit, all around your lip and
I can't imagine, no.
It just above your chin, just under your lip there.
Well, do you know what? I cheat with my eyebrows, right? Because why would I want to have my eyebrows ripped out when I just put a bit of nail on them? Bingo, 2 minutes left, done. Yeah. No problemo, no pain.
I pull mine out.
Oh, why? Why? Just get some hair removal cream and just use a cotton wool bud. like that, and then wipe it off. Done. No pain.
Yeah, I should do really. I've never thought of that, to be fair. Never thought of that.
But then again, that's laziness.
Well, it's not. It's just like I haven't got the skills you've got because I've come from a man's world going into a woman's world where you've grown up being a woman. So my eyebrows are just a lot thicker than yours.
You could, yeah, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, I might try that though. That sounds like a good shout.
Well, if you cook it up, it's going to grow back, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah, true. Oh, could you imagine if I had electrolysis on my eyebrows, the pain that would cause? Wow, I couldn't even think about that because that's like all bone there, isn't it?
My mum put nail on my dad's beard, on my dad's stubble once, because she thought it might help him that he wouldn't have to shave it every day. All it done was put him up a great big rash.
Yeah, fuck that.
Oh God! And he used to have the odd random, really thick eyebrow, you know. And my mum used to love getting the tweezers and pulling it out. And oh my God, he's such a baby. He used to scream.
Yeah, but men are just like that, aren't they?
Yeah, I wouldn't swap my dad for the world. He's wonderful.
I think we've done all right tonight.
I think we've done all right. I think we've put the world to rights.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, Brian said something else. So moisturiser would be applied to soften the scabbing and relieve itching, I guess. Moisturiser.
Yeah, it was Vaseline. You had to it was like having third degree. It was like being burnt. I mean, it was literally your face had been, the top layer of skin had been lasered off. So it was literally.
Oh, I get you. Yeah.
And you could not let any air get to it. It had to be completely smothered in Vaseline constantly, because otherwise it would cause scarring or whatever. And yeah, as it was healing, the itching was insane, and you couldn't wash your hair either. So you should have like obviously you try your best to do it, but you couldn't have anything, any kind of anything like chemically near you, because it was raw skin. It was like being burnt.
Yeah. Brian just said, Paris, I have 2 rugs for eyebrows.
But do they meet in the middle? Is it a monobrow?
But even saying that, it don't matter if men have got like rugs for eyebrows, does it? Like,
no.
But if you had a woman,
not being funny, men are quite lucky like that.
Yeah. If you had a woman that had 2 eyebrows that looked like rugs, and then like that would be so stressful for a woman.
Yeah. And also, sometimes a lot of women don't like it if they have if their hairs on they have a lot of dark hairs on their arms. They don't like that either.
Yeah. No.
And I've even known one of my son's friends, he shaves his arms just because he has a lot of hair on his arms and he doesn't like it. Yeah, but it's hard because people have got to keep up with. People are so judgmental about everything, but not about themselves.
Yeah, it does seem like that, doesn't it? That people are very judgmental.
We're all like it. We are all like it.
Yeah.
And sometimes
it's like we've got a couple that live on this site. They're both old. Nothing wrong with that. Out of shape. Nothing wrong with that. But it seems like the longer they've been together, he's starting to look like her and she started to look like him. And I can't believe how much facial hair she grows before she shaves it off.
Don't. And I don't. If I start talking to somebody in the shop and they've got like maybe a mole that's got hair growing out of it or something like that, or
you can't stop staring at it.
I find myself actually physically moving towards it, like actually going in for a closer view.
And it's wrong, isn't it? 'Cause
Next
I
minute,
know it's
the
there.
nasal hair is tickling your nose, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
My son always goes to me, "Can you stop staring?"
I know it's hard though, isn't it? But like
It is
we all
hard.
have these defects.
It is hard. I
But
mean, I
most
wouldn't stare at somebody, you know, that had a physical, obviously a physical, you know, but you know, you can't. It's human nature. If somebody's, you know, if you're standing there and a woman's, you know, and you've got somebody with a great big, you know, mole with big hair that looks like Nanny McPhee or something, you're going to stare because.
Well, so a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to this lady. She talked very posh and everything, right? But she had this one long grey hair coming out of it was like on them, sort of where the moustache is, but almost to the side of her lip. And it was massive this long. And I was thinking,
I bet you just wanted to pull it out, didn't you?
Yeah, I was just thinking, why don't she pull that out? She must be able to see it.
Yeah, no, it's bizarre, isn't it?
It was just one big long hair.
It's like that Dr. Pimple Popper. Have you ever watched that Dr. Pimple Popper?
No.
You've got people, right? They go in. She does all their spots or whatever, right? And they've got a black and it's massive, right? And it's ready. And how long has that been? 10 years. You say what?
Wow. Yeah, because some people believe that you shouldn't pop blackheads, don't they?
I
can't have one of them.
Oh yeah, forget that. Yeah, it's out.
Yeah, I can't. It's got to go.
Yeah, I mean, I've never said. I mean, you're just like, I'm like, what? And again, I find myself nearly like my nose is like squashed up against the TV looking at it.
That's the trouble with HT telly now, isn't it? Because I remember when HT first come out, that the film stars was actually moaning because people could actually see the hairs on their arm and everything, and they had to go to that next level to look as good as they did.
They actually look like they're human rather than.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, we lowered the tone there, but anyway, let's get over it.
Well, my son's gone to he's got a party tonight. You know, because he's at uni. There's a party tonight, and all the boys have to dress as girls, and all the girls have to dress as boys. So he said to me, he said to me, now I've got this skirt. He said, but it's a very formal skirt. He said, I thought I might wear a blouse. He said, but I wasn't. I said, so you're going for the Britney Spears look, are you? Oh, he said, I was trying for the office look. He said, but that's a really good idea. I was like, but they.
Wow. See, they wouldn't have done that back in my day when I was at school. I ain't fucking dressing up as a girl. Or
yeah,
I ain't dressing up.
Do you know what? They have so many fancy dressing, and on a Wednesday, there's a gay couple that run bingo night. Actually, I think it's Wednesday, and they've actually called it Batty Bingo.
Don't you think that all that stuff like is pushing the agenda though? That gives people like me a bad name though.
Yeah, but it's not the kids that have named it that. It's the gay couple that have actually decided to call their bingo night Batty Bingo. Now, I mean, I find that difficult because I wouldn't use that word.
No.
Right, but if a gay couple don't find that a problem for them, that's fine. But in my eyes, that is making that word a normal part of vocabulary, which other people may find offensive. I think you have to be very careful.
Would you be allowed to say that to someone on the street?
Absolutely not, and I never would.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
When Joseph said it to me, I went, "Oh, I said, what? Don't say that." And he went, "No, Mum, that's what their night's called. That's what they call it." Because he's very, very, you know, he's very aware of other people's feelings. You know, he's not like allowed. He's just a really nice young man, and he, you know, he's got friends that are bisexual, you know, lesbian, whatever, and he had to explain to me, you know, sometimes there's one of his friends some weeks, lives as a what is it called? Lives as a man, and then at other times lives as a lady. I can't remember what he said it was
See, the
called.
thing is, I can't argue about all these gays and lesbians in the past, because I believe, even though I do get a tough time, I believe that they've set the path to make life easier for me. Because you look at like gays years ago and lesbians, they wasn't allowed to come out and say that they was gay or lesbian.
I mean, I can't. It was.
It sounds like Brian's
I
having a
can't
problem
get
with
my head
his.
around why people wouldn't accept somebody because of
Yeah.
that.
Well,
It's, I find it
these
disgusting.
days now, these days now, I get it. But back then, it
Oh, and
was
it was like, oh
such
my
a
God,
thing.
God's going to punish you and all.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
mean, it
never
was
believed
like
in God,
it was.
but like,
People were horrified. But then
yeah,
look what happened. When you had, when colored people weren't allowed to. I don't know I mean, how could
they
people do
wasn't allowed to go in pubs or
in the
bars. They
deep?
wasn't
Yeah,
allowed to mix,
oh
and
no,
it's like
no, you're not
trying to
allowed on
get
this
your head
bus.
around that.
I mean, that's horrifying. Obviously, because of losing family in the Holocaust, you get affected by it because as a religion, you're attacked as one kind of thing, but so you
Yeah,
are sensitive to it. But I
yeah.
still don't understand how a normal human being could possibly have that going through their head that would be acceptable, no matter
Because
when
they're
it
just
was.
set in their old ways, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean,
Brian's having problems with his beard online. Oh dear. He said he had a beard, but it made him itchy. It felt dirty. Do you know what, Brian? When I used to grow a moustache and that, I used to hate it because it did make me feel dirty all the time around the face.
Yeah, my dad grew one during lockdown, and he it was all right to start with, but then one day he was just like, no, this is it, it's off. And he was like, oh, nice clean, because he's never had a beard before. But he hates shaving every day, hates it.
Yeah. Well, I say I'm lucky. I still have to shave, but my hair is so like blotchy now. I don't have to make such an effort to shave now. But like once I finish my course, I'm sure it'll all be gone. See, the thing is, the good thing about having electrolysis rather than having laser treatment is electrolysis gets rid of the molecule, whereas laser treatment doesn't. So the pores where you've got rid of the hairs permanently with laser treatment, the pores never close up as much as they do
And
when
that's
you've
really important.
had
That's really important that
electrolysis.
he does. Yeah.
Yeah, especially on the face.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's still
But
painful.
I mean, I don't wear makeup. Like, I don't wear makeup every day. Like, especially if I'm just indoors, stuff like that. But I use there's this one foundation. I would never ever change it. I will always use the same one, and it's a Estee Lauder, and it's Total Cover. It's called by Estee Lauder. It's about £30 for a tube, and a whole tube will
Yeah.
last you a year,
Wow.
and it covers everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's phenomenal. I would never buy anything else, and I bought it for the last 20 years.
I don't mind wearing lipstick and eyeliner, but when I start putting foundation on and all that stuff, I just find that my face is caked, and it's like I just wear it when I need to. When I go out and I wear it when I need to. But
That's what I do. I don't put it on.
I'm not that good at putting makeup on. I wish I was really good at it. I've got the wrong eyes for it. I mean, I like it when I put foundation on, and because like you realise how blotchy your face is when you haven't got it on. But when you put it on and your face is all the same colour and there's no blemishes, it looks fucking great.
Yeah, and I found this really fantastic. It's a pore reducer. It's oh shit, It's baby some. It's baby. It's called Baby Skin, and it's by someone like Revlon or something like that. And it's just a little tube, and it's in a baby blue colour tube. It's about £6.
I think I've probably got some of that.
And it's called
Do you
Baby
use primer?
What? No.
Do you
I put
use
that
primer?
baby skin on, put the baby skin cream on, right?
Yeah.
And then I put my foundation on straight away after that, and I don't need anything else. And it leaves it lovely and smooth, and everything. But I've noticed a lot of the younger girls, I've noticed, don't seem to blend their foundation around, like, into their ears and into their hairline and down their neck. So you end up with this kind of tangerine face.
Yeah.
And then this, I mean, it looks ridiculous. And you have to you test the foundation on the back of your hand and make sure it matches your skin color, your skin tone.
Yeah. It's like I went to a car showroom the other day. A friend of mine was buying a car, so I took her there, and I couldn't believe. I mean, we went there quite early in the morning, and I couldn't believe these young girls how much makeup they had on, and they look like
they don't actually look beautiful. They look like a made up. They almost look. They look fake. It's I don't understand.
Well, you're a bit scared for them when they actually take their makeup off. What do they actually look like? It's like, wow. I know you're going to look completely different when you take your makeup off. But what are you actually
like the boys these days when they wake up in the morning after the night before, they went to bed with what they thought was beautiful and woke up with ugly Betty.
Yeah, exactly. But these girls, I couldn't believe it. It's like they was air hostesses.
Yeah,
and
but also everything's so exaggerated. So I've had false eyelashes done before. They're lovely, but I wouldn't have great big ones like the size of elephants' eyelashes. But that everything seems to be super exaggerated. Like your nails have to be super long. I couldn't have that. I couldn't bear that. And super thin and pointy.
Yeah.
I mean, what
is your wife used to do electrolysis, Brian? Because I'll go to someone that's old and she's learning all the time. She's been doing it for years. So to work in an hairdresser's and do
is it expensive? Because it was years ago.
£80 an hour.
It's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth it.
But I've had about. I think I've had in roughly about 60 odd hours.
Wow. And are you able to get that, via like the NHS or whatever, or do you pay for that?
No, I have to pay for it.
See, I don't think that's fair.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's fair because I have to pay, and it comes out much.
I think that should be a treatment provided for you.
Yeah, well, I think you get about 20 hours on the NHS but that's like when you've gone through the clinic and all that. But like because I'm on benefits at the moment, and when I have to pay that's like a lot of food and a lot of fuel that I can't buy because I have to pay for that. And
that's where it's not fair, because why should a treatment which I personally think is part of like a medical treatment, right? As such, right? I don't think I think it's wrong. I think you should get that. I think that the NHS should provide you with that completely. I mean, it's like going, you don't go in for an operation and they go, oh right, that's it. Oh no, we're stopping halfway through. You've had your bit.
Yeah, well, it won't be long before it's like that, Ellen.
Oh no.
If you ain't got the money, you're not getting the treatment. But
I mean, private healthcare is, we're very lucky to have an NHS, right? We are very, very lucky.
But to be fair, I feel like I should get more help than I do because I've worked all my life. I've worked hard all my life,
Mm.
and because I'm in this unfortunate situation, I still have to pay it. But
Yeah,
there's
and I
people
think
out there.
I feel that that breaches your human rights in a wider sense. Do you know what I mean? I feel
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is very unfair. I think that is totally unacceptable. And
yeah,
I think it's completely and utterly wrong.
yeah. It's like
Personally,
the person I go to is private. She's paid like the money she's paid for her machine. You could buy a decent car with.
Mm,
It cost a lot of money. I mean, I see the machinery when I go there. I'm like, wow. She wears these special goggles, and
yeah, and
it's like,
she's got
wow.
extra overhead. You know, she must have to have
Well,
her insurance.
she has.
Insurance
She's
and I mean everything.
she's at retirement age, and she still has to go to college to keep
Mm.
updating with everything that's going on.
But that shows her professionalism, because anybody that
Yeah,
says I'll know it all, nobody knows.
yeah.
You know,
No, she's always going to these meetings and that all about this electrolysis thing, and it's like she's got the latest machine. And do you know what? I am so lucky because I was given a list of electrolysis and laser treatments, and it was just by luck I chose an electrolysis.
it's meant to
And
be.
she's literally 15 minutes down the road from where I live.
See, I think things like
Yeah,
there's certain
and I'm
things
just
in
so
life
glad. I mean,
where I think
yeah, I have to pay for it,
things are
pain in the
absolutely
arse,
meant
but
to be.
to get one at that level that
Mm.
lives 15 minutes away from me, I was like, wow.
I know, but on the other hand, that shouldn't be like,
Yeah,
oh my god, that's amazing. That should be normal. That should be the normal standard,
yeah,
really, shouldn't it? But
yeah.
I think it's completely and utterly, I think it's disgusting. I understand that every service provider, every, whatever, everybody's stretched financially, this and stretch, right? But you wouldn't send someone in to have their leg cut off and then not stitch the wound up. So,
No.
it's, I just feel like, I personally think it's wrong that you would have to pay for that privately. I really do.
It's like even when I have the operation, which I've been waiting 6 years for,
I mean,
they have to get sponsors. The NHS have to get sponsors to pay for it.
what just
So
what,
not even
what,
the
so
NHS is
what,
paying
what,
for it. It's private people.
so private. What do they do then? Do they make donations and you have like a, I don't know, like a, not like a, I don't know, like a bank account with the.
Well, I belong to the GRC. I belong to the GRC clinic, and I believe that they have to get the money together to have the operation done on the NHS.
Maybe
it doesn't just come out of the
is it not?
NHS.
But we are subsidised cost. You shouldn't be a cost, full stop.
Well, it's like when I think when you get it, say like this is just a rough for instance, because these prices were what I worked out when I started first going into this a few years ago. And if you have it done on the NHS, I think it costs between 15 and 17 grand. But if you went private, it costs you about 26 grand. So there is like a discount there in a way, but even that is still funded by people that sponsor the money that try and help people like me.
And do you have to find these sponsors, or do they find them?
No, the GRC clinic does.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, well, it's just how it is, isn't it?
I mean,
everything's been broken up into private firms and fractions, and it's all bullshit.
See that I find that I'm just I'm actually speechless.
Yeah.
And is it? Do you I'm sorry to ask you a question. Does the NHS make you wait a certain time, or is it because of certain, there's
Well,
there's a system you have to go through?
Well, you go through a system. I belong to a GRC clinic, which is where you have to go when you've got like the issues I've got, because you have to have specialists that analyse you, question you. You pass this bit, and then you have to pass the next bit, and then you have to.
Do they make you have like mental health assessment? To
make sure. Yeah. I have meetings every now and then. I have blood tests every 3 months, and I have to have my testosterone blockers every 3 months. I have to take HRT every day. I go to the electrolysis every month. It's like everyone's just sticking.
It's not like you're not. It's not done on a whim. Do you know what I mean? It's
exactly, yeah. But and then people say there's agendas out there. But if you're the right type of person with the right type of answers, you could probably get that done in a couple of years. But where I went wrong is when I decided to transition, I done it on my own, and I went and got the medication off of eBay, and I was paying for it for myself because I was working. Then I had to sell my house, so I kept buying the medication myself, and I was buying it for myself for 3 years, and I never got any, despite the fact that I was part of the GRC clinic, I never got any help off of them at all. And then by the time I'd worked it out, I'd wasted 3 years. But
and is that because there isn't the support and help there, or is that because they don't inform people of the support?
Well, the reason I had my issues was because I was self-medicating. They couldn't treat me on the basis that they didn't know what was in the medication I was taking.
Yeah, I understand that.
So I had to stop it. Well, I had to stop it because I couldn't afford to do electrolysis, pay for the medication.
And they have to have the record of what. They have to have a.
So in their mind, I've only actually been on their book between 2 and 3 years, and normally you would get that assessment after 2 years. But even when the GIC clinic refers you to the NHS, it's still down to the final word of the surgeon whether they're going to do it or not.
See, that's like playing God. I hate that.
Yeah. Well, when the GIC clinic has put you all through that and assessed you and said, "Yep, you're definitely the right candidate for that operation,"
there should be no questions.
You can still go to the operating theatre, and it's down to the surgeon whether he performs that operation or not.
That's right. Oh.
Yeah. I know a transgender woman that they actually refused her the operation, and she took them to court, and they lost the case.
I don't blame her. I'd have taken them to court, and I'd have appealed if I'd have lost as well.
Well, the surgeon lost the case, and they had to do it. But to be fair, knowing that person,
I know, wouldn't want them to do the operation. Then would you?
Yeah, well, knowing that person that got refused that operation, I genuinely believe that surgeon was correct in his answer. But because she took him to court, she won the case and got the surgery. And I believe that was the wrong decision. So you can never, I mean, it's hard to get it right. It's hard to get it right, but I believe that I do deserve that surgery, and I'll keep going until I get it.
Absolutely.
Even after that, Helen, all the fucking paperwork I have to go through to change my license, my passport, my birth certificate, every little thing that I've got my old name on, I have to go and change individually, and that takes forever.
Yeah, and certain things and changing certain things are not always free. If you want a name change, say, driving license, £17. What?
It's not just my name, it's my gender I have to change as well, which I can't. Even though I changed my name by default, I still can't change everything on my paperwork until I've had that operation and got that paperwork, because I have to get the paperwork to say that I am a female, and then I have to go through
I think it's Scotland that's reduced the time now. Isn't it Scotland that's reduced the time? I think it's gone down from 2 years to 3 months before they can get their GRC. Is it a GRC? Isn't it? The certificate.
I don't know, because I haven't got to that part yet.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm sure it's Scotland.
I mean, I had a meeting about 3 months ago, I think it was, and they was talking about, do I want the paperwork to give to my license to say that I'm a female? I said, well, obviously I do, but I don't get that until after I've had the operation, and then I've got to go through all what I've gone again, from changing my name to now changing my gender, and I'm like, wow, that's long.
Yeah, it is.
I'll probably be dead by the time I've actually changed everything to me being a female. And they go, yeah, and when you've got this paperwork and you do that, you can marry a man. And I'm like, well, that's the last thing on my fucking mind, to be fair.
Well, you could marry a man anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But I can marry a man as a proper woman. There's no question.
Yeah. Oh yeah, not a same sex married. See, even that, I mean, I just
But what a long process, though.
It's a very long process, and I understand there has to be a proper process, so that there isn't any kind of like.
But
it's not like, because it's not a. Do you know what I mean? You have to make.
But don't you think it's hypocritical though, Ellen, when people come on and they go, "Oh yeah, but they're pushing this agenda and they're pushing."
I think it's disgusting. I think it's disgusting.
But a lot of them people just listen to what other people have said. That if they listen to me and what I've gone through, and then there are cases out there where that happens. I get it, but that's few and far between.
I'm not being funny, but but there's the same sort of thing happens no matter who you are and in what society and what it's like they go, oh yeah, well oh yeah, this certain part of society they're all well no, because there's like you have every there's not like one thing that pushes one thing. It's just and I tell you what really winds me up. Do you know what really
I was watching this thing. I was watching this thing, Ellen, where these drag queens were going into schools, right?
Yeah, the drag queen story hour.
Yeah, and there was a big thing on the internet, and people were attacking me, and I'm pushing this and pushing that.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I'm going to have a look into this, right? And when I looked into this drag queens going into schools and that, apparently it was plays that all the parents of the children consented to. It was a play that the drag queens were doing.
And then people, story hour.
Yeah, but people was turning around and saying, "Oh, you're pushing the agenda for trans people," and it's like, no. If you've done your research and you looked into it properly, they're drag queens going into a school, getting the consent of the parents that it's a play. And would it be okay if their children watched the play? And the parents consented to it, but it all got turned around that this transgender thing was being forced on the kids in school.
There was the drag queen story out that was going around the libraries there was a drag tour that was going around. It was one drag queen. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but it was a drag queen story hour tour of different libraries in the
but
UK.
drag queens don't make out they're women. If you say
No,
to
a drag queen is a drag queen.
are
A
you
drag
a
queen is
male
not
or a female?
transgender person.
They'll say, I'm a male. They're men
A drag queen is a
dressed
drag
up as
queen.
women. They don't say they're women.
No, not at all.
So
but,
where this
people see, that's where people with, but tunnel vision that aren't capable of having, don't have the intelligence of understanding what the definite, what is what. They see one thing and they run with it, and whether they're right or wrong because they're ignorant. I actually spoke to that drag queen that done the library tour because and in fact there was a lot of Jeanette Archer's lot that went for round protesting against that because they believed that children of 3 years old or whatever, 4 years old, are being taught certain sexual things in schools. Now, obviously, I don't have a child of that age, but I hope that my brain is kind of, normal. A normal thinking person, a rational thinking person. I mean, I can be completely wrong, but I can't picture a primary school teacher standing in front of a group of 4.5-year-olds teaching them how to, do things to themselves.
I can't imagine that at all. No.
I mean, it just, I mean, and the worst thing is that it was, it was, I can't remember his bloody name, but I mean, it was horrifying to watch, right? Because, I mean, he was putting on a play for children the same way as people, you go to a pantomime, right?
Yeah.
And he was reading a story. And you know what was affecting the children more than anything, that was upsetting the children more than anything, that was causing them so much distress, was the bloody ridiculous arseholes of people like, what's her face up in bloody Blackpool, Jeanette Archer's friend or whatever she's called, can't remember her name, Alison something, getting up and shouting and screaming and getting in his face and causing a disturbance and getting thrown out was upsetting the children more than anything whatsoever.
Yeah.
That was more distress. They were having a whale of a time.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if your parents
I've been to pantomimes and I thought they was fucking great.
Don't take them. End of.
Yeah. I think watching pantomimes is great. But there's no sexual innuendos behind it. It's just fun.
But how do they expect the next generation to become even more accepting of the generation before and the generations before?
Well, they just want them all to stay racialist, don't they? And divided and
totally
complicated.
I mean, and the aggression and the fighting and I mean, I couldn't believe in this day and age. I never thought I would see people standing out on a street calling other people Nazis, right? Because of a drag queen reading a storybook in a library.
So Troll Detective's just come on. He ain't been on there before, I don't think. And he just wrote Alison Hocking.
That's it. And she used to be a foster parent. She's fostered lots and lots of children, and yet she caused such a disturbance. She caused so much distress to those children. It was disgusting.
Yeah, they just got an agenda, haven't they? They've just got an agenda.
Yeah, she's like Jeanette's number 2 for the north of England.
Yeah, Brian just put, I would say it must be a very uncomfortable experience after it. but given the aftercare, it is good and operation goes well. Good luck. But the thing with that though, Brian, is like when I do have the operation, I'm bedridden for 3 months. Then I can't hardly do anything for the first 6 months. So I'm bedridden for 3 months. Then I can move about a bit after 6 months, and it takes a year to heal.
And
So
do they provide you with
for
aftercare?
people to think that, oh, let's turn this little kid into a girl or whatever, it's all bullshit, because the stuff you have to go through just before that operation and then go through all that after, because you can't do anything. You're not allowed to
And do
do
they
any.
provide you with aftercare, Barry?
Well, what is the aftercare? You have
I
to
mean,
go.
you know, they must provide you with like you know, like a home help or carer to come in.
No, they don't. They don't. You go to the hospital after a certain time, and then you get looked at, and certain things have to happen, which I won't go into.
Yeah.
But basically, you're bedridden for
Yeah, so
3
that it
months
doesn't,
at
so
home.
that it heals
You're
properly.
taught how to clean and make sure everything is up to scratch. You do that yourself, or you have a care. Because the thing is, they won't do the operation if I live on my own. I have to have someone here, my family, to look after me, to run around, get my water, get my
But
food,
also,
empty my
because
toilet.
the count, I would have thought the local, like maybe adult services would provide, you know, like a direct payments, you know, so you could have a care package that as you know, they can give you direct payments for
The benefit won't make it any easier for me. I should imagine I would have to go on sick, because me being on universal credit, I have to be available for work all times.
Yeah,
Now,
you would
as
automatically.
soon as I break that contract,
You would automatically go into the.
you don't automatically.
No,
You
but I
have
mean,
to. You have
you
to
would.
go through all that shit form
Yeah,
for
I know
you.
you have to go through all those silly bollocks fucking medicals, but yeah, there's obviously you would have to. Well, you would hope that they would, you know, put you on the top rate. You know, the LCWRA or whatever it's called.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. Brian's just said something about your voice. Now, your voice, you have to train yourself. You don't go through no pain, Brian. You have to train your own voice. You don't have any operation or any. There's no pain involved. It's like I have to speak in a higher tone to change my
Like
voice.
the vocal cords or whatever it does.
Well, pardon?
Is that kind of so it's like you're kind of reshaping your vocal cords so that it's a higher tone.
Exactly. Because a man's vocal cords is a lot wider and deeper.
Yeah.
And what I have to do, because they've said to me, do you want voice training? And I said, to be honest with you, I don't give a fuck about my voice. People accept it how it is, or they don't.
I think you.
I can train my own voice, but I have to speak in a higher tone and learn all the things so that I take the roughness out of my voice, and then it changes my throat and my.
I don't think your voice is any different tone to my voice.
No, mine is. As soon as I talk, everyone says that I'm a man, whether I'm on the phone or whatever.
I've never.
I can hear your voice as a woman's voice, and I can hear mine as a man. But I can actually train my voice if I want to. But I'm not willing at my age to put that effort. If I was 20, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I would be there every day doing all the vocals that I need to do.
I don't think you have an overly masculine, deep, masculine voice. I think you have a normal woman's voice.
I can talk better than this if I want to, but when I'm relaxed, I just can't be bothered.
Yeah, well, what, you know, So what? Let talk how you want to talk.
Yeah.
Talk how you want to
But
talk.
I'm just answering Brian.
You want to wear a fucking rubber suit around the house?
Question.
Wear a rubber suit around the house. Who gives a fuck? Nobody else should give a fuck either.
Yeah. But I was just
I'll go
answering
around
Brian's
wearing
question.
a thong and walk up and down the road, just topless in a thong. I'll walk
Yeah,
around.
but I don't think. I think when people, I mean, I've seen some ridiculous cases where men dress up as women and say they're women, and I just think, do you know what? All you're doing is making it harder
Yeah.
for the real people that are trying their best to come
Yeah.
across as a woman.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I've been in some groups where I think there's women out there that don't act like ladies at all. They're absolutely vulgar, absolutely vulgar the way they talk.
I
wouldn't want to be like that.
I've been around some rough women, but you know that, for example, you know there's one up in Lancashire that likes to stalk me. I have never in my life heard such a disgusting mouth on it. It's got a mouth like a trollop, and I mean,
does it begin with a Z?
No, it begins with a K, and its partner begins with a B. I don't think they've popped up in your thing, in your chat yet. They might do. They're delightful. 8 months, nearly every day, I've had sexual and physical and abusive threats from them. And no matter how you block them, they just make new accounts. But I have never in my life come across a man and a woman that are so disgusting, especially as a female. It's like what?
Yeah, there's a lot of women on YouTube that just don't act like women. They just act like vulgar monsters, to be fair. And I think
know, they don't see a problem
about
with that. But the minute somebody else does it,
yeah.
Oh no! That's not. No.
Yeah.
It really is. It's. I think. I mean, I've noticed that there is a lot of disgusting females,
Yes.
and I think maybe more than the males. Abuse, you know, being like spiteful wives.
Oh fucking hell, Kaylee Anev is like that. She's absolutely vulgar. Vulgar.
Very much so.
She's vulgar to that level that she's actually give her kids away just to be on YouTube. And I don't care how anyone butters that up. That's exactly what she done.
Gutter mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
no, I've heard that.
Wants to destroy everyone else's life because she's got fuck all herself now.
Yeah, but there seems to be quite a few of them. The one that told us off about Snow White one, she's quite like that as well. I think she thinks she's a cut above everybody else, but really and truly, you know, obviously, usually we step over dog shit and not talk to it, but I'm quite shocked at how depraved she is.
Yeah.
You know, the other day she even brought up my dead brother.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe some of the. I mean, I follow a guy and he's a lovely guy, and there was other people in there. I mean, he lost his wife a few years ago, and they said some fucking horrible things about his wife, and it's like, why would you fucking do that?
Well, the two stalkers, they're called Kelly and Billy, and they said to me that my mum and dad idolised Ground I Walked On, right? My mum and dad would have wished that they'd kept the afterbirth rather than me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, disgusting stuff. That, you know, they reported me for raping my own child.
Yeah.
About 2 months ago.
Isn't it? That is unreal, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the thing is, the authorities
take big online, but people don't know what's happening behind the scenes. In the last 3 days, I've had 37 calls in the last week from them, but obviously they can't get through on my phone because they're blocked. So I just get voicemails calling me a CUNT, get up, bitch. I'm gonna batter your private parts. They don't call it that. Put a gimp mask on, and I'm gonna put my foot on your head while you suck his balls.
God, yeah, vulgar, isn't it?
It's nice, and they wonder why their kids have been taken off.
And the thing is, the authorities take notice of them more than us, don't they?
Yeah, but I mean, I've got to say that she has had 5 children put into care, and it was totally the correct decision.
Yeah. There's some mothers out there that have had kids that absolutely don't deserve them. Because I think when you get these wonky families and they have kids, all the kids end up wonky, and then they have wonky kids, and it's
well,
like
you see, what I don't understand is, right?
It's a vicious circle.
Is that all right? They have a child, and right? Social services, right? Listen, social services take the child, right? Then they have another child, right? Which, right? But then social services then take that child, right? Because they've failed. That they're not being a parent, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying social services don't get it wrong; they get it horrifically wrong, but right?
Definitely.
And then these people go out and campaign how social services are child abusers and traffic their children, right? Then they go on to have another 5 children, which are all removed. So how does that work? I mean, is it me? Why? I can't see the logic. You're saying that social services traffic your children and abuse them. So why would you carry on and have, 5 children for the system to take, this corrupt system that's abusing your children and selling them? Why would you produce a child to be abused?
You think they'd work it out at the beginning, wouldn't you?
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because they think.
Yeah. Troll Detective said Kelly and Billy sound like swingers.
Oh, they're worse than that. They're the next Fred and Rose West, and I've told them that, and I've told the police that.
Oh, wow.
And I'm being serious.
Yeah.
They're a dangerous.
Yeah, Brian, you don't have an operation with vocals. You don't have an operation. Some people have their Adam's apple shaved.
Oh, that sounds painful.
But, yeah, I was thinking about it, and I thought, why bother? I'm fucking.
Would that not change shape with the with the whole hormone treatment, or over time it doesn't reduce?
No, you can have it shaved. But I don't like the sound of that, and I just thought there's no point in me having it. I'm not 20.
No.
You know what I mean?
Put a necklace on. Who don't know?
Yeah, I'll just wear a scarf or whatever. But my voice and my Adam's apple just don't bother me at all.
No.
But at the end of the day, I'm me. I live where I live.
That's not a priority.
I enjoy my life, and I'm happy being me. So why would I go down that route when I don't need to? That's just money that's spent unwisely, I think.
Yeah. And I think, after that sort of recovery time as well, you have to heal, mentally as well, because that's a hell of a recovery time.
Yeah, definitely.
And mentally as well, not being able to do because your mind's not going to stop being, your mind's not going to be restricted.
Yeah, but I feel like I've already committed everything to who I want to be. The operation's just like
that's just
someone having an art operation or whatever.
Yeah,
it's not going to change. Yeah. It's not going to change me in any different way. It's not like I'm going to go, like, for instance, I can go out and fuck men now, because I haven't been with anyone for the last 6 years. So why is it going to change?
How you want to be living, how you are meant to be living.
It,
Do you know
it
what I mean?
just fulfills and completes who I
Yeah, of
am,
course it does. Of
rather
course it
than,
does.
oh, I've had that done. Now I've got to
Yeah.
try and act this way, because I'm already acting that way in my own mind. I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not looking to try and please anyone. I'm just trying to complete how I feel.
You're just being you, and
Yeah,
you want, then you've got closure on that.
yeah,
That's it.
definitely.
It's
I
been
can
it done
move
for.
on. Yeah.
And
I
I
can
think
wear
that's
my
important.
leggings as well, which annoys me. I can't wear my leggings
Just
because I've
get a
got,
baggy top.
yeah. Well, I do. Yeah. I mean, we know all the tricks. Don't worry about that. But it's nice to not have to keep
Yeah, of
worrying about.
course.
I wear leggings and I've got to wear a jumper that comes
I
just
know.
past
I mean,
there, and make sure I go out in the right coat. And
I know.
it's just
People
I
don't
don't. I
think
won't,
about that sort of thing that you have to,
yeah.
that you have to consider. And I also want to say that I do not understand why people have. I mean, I'm not saying if you've got a man that's just decided, right, I'm it's dressed up as, and I want to go into the female changing room. There's a difference between somebody who, that a lady like you, and then somebody that's just doing it for doing it. So, do you know what I mean? And I have never had any problems with anybody in a public toilet, whether it be whoever it is, right? Ever. And I've never heard of any, I've never had any friends or anybody I know that has ever had a problem in a changing room or a toilet. And
Yeah,
that
well,
seems to be a major issue for people.
well, that's the thing. It's like when people ask me, "Oh, I bet you go in the ladies' toilet." So, well, of course,
Of course.
do. What do you think I'm going to go in the men's toilets where I feel a lot more vulnerable? And they go, "Oh, but you're perving on the." Well, it's like, hang on a minute.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going in there to go to the toilet. I feel a lot safer going in the ladies' toilets than I would going in the men's toilets.
They're worried about, oh, you're going to be this, you're going to be.
They think you're getting something that they're missing out on. It seems.
I know,
to
but the thing is that the only person that would be at risk going into the wrong toilet is you going into a man's toilet because you are a woman.
Exactly. It's so uncomfortable. I mean, I'd done it once at a GIC clinic seminar, and this was right at the beginning. And I've never felt so uncomfortable in all my life in going in a men's toilet. And when I come out of there, it goes, I ain't fucking ever doing that again. No. And that was because and that was because I asked one of the staff where the toilets were, and she pointed me to the men's toilets. Yeah. And I went over there and I thought, that's a bit fucking wrong, isn't it? And this was right at the beginning. And I just couldn't believe it. I thought maybe they've put because it was a paper sign. And I thought, well, maybe they've just put the men's toilets on the women's and the women's on the men's. But when I went in there and I went to the toilet and there was a man in there having a piss, I was like, man, I felt so uncomfortable. I really did.
I bet that.
So anytime I go out now, I just go into the women's toilets, I do my business, put my lipstick on again, and then I come back out and it's done. There's no issues or anything. You might get the funny look here and there off of a guy, but that's his issue, not mine.
Yeah.
I don't go in there spying on fucking women.
No, not being funny.
What is it I'm going to see that's going to fucking turn me on?
Right, now, not being funny.
I've got my own fucking
how often
boots.
do people usually use a public toilet? Realistically. I mean, you might have to go to the toilet, but it's not like it's an everyday event that, everybody's queuing up to use the public toilets.
Yeah. And it's not like I go out very often these days anyway, because like
There's so many freaks out there that just stare at you. And to be honest with you, half of these men that stare at me are just got issues with their own mind, because
Yeah.
you know half of them want to fucking shag you, but they're disgusted that they think like that.
Yeah, and so because they're so disgusted with their own feelings,
They
They
look
don't
at me
want to
like I'm a
hurt
bit of
you.
shit.
and that's when it's dangerous.
Yeah. But anyway, let them get on with it, because they're the ones that have got the issue. I haven't. I'm happy in my skin.
Good. You should be.
Mm. They're just, the trouble is, a lot of them, I'm not saying all,
No.
but a lot of them are not happy with what they think in their own minds.
Yeah,
They're
it's
like,
their own issues.
Oh, I'd like to shag that. Oh, did I really say that to myself?
Yeah.
Anyway, Ellen, I'm going to call it a night now, because I've been on
Yeah, I
there
know, darling. Look, it's 2:30.
3.5 hours, and I need to go to the toilet, and I need to go to bed, to be fair.
This is probably the longest I've not gone to the toilet in the last week.
Yeah.
I need to go too, and well, looking forward to seeing what we've done wrong tomorrow, because I'm sure we're
Yeah,
all over the place.
I'm sure everyone will let us know.
No,
But
no,
thanks for the chat coming on. Thanks for coming on the panel, Ellen.
Thank you for having me on.
It takes a very brave woman to come on my panel. Not that I'm horrible, but I just seem to have this persona around a lot of people. But anyway, thank you for coming on.
No, thank you for
chat.
having me.
Thank you for your input, Brian, and everyone else.
Take care, Brian. Thank you for being our fact finders tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, then. I'll see you all later.
All right, take care.
Right.
Have a good rest. Have a good sleep. Night.
Yeah. Sweet dreams, everyone.
And
Bye.
and for everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I love